Good. Good morning. If everyone would please take their seats. If everyone would please take their seats, we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you. Thank you. The July 6, 2011 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. The City Council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. Ms. Fretwell, for 12 years, I've wanted to ask this question, and I've held it pent up within me. But what kind of moron would watch this meeting on TV at 4 a.m. in the morning?
They got to have the filler, sir.
All right, well,
Rick will need the filler.
we have a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system in this building, and if alarms should activate, please leave through the exits, and our marshals will tell you when it's safe to re-enter. There's no reason to believe that would ever take place, but we do this as a cautionary instruction. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given this morning by Reverend Cindy DeLong, Center for Spiritual Living, and please remain standing for the pledge.
I invite you to become quiet in this stillness. Allow your body and your thoughts to relax into the silence and feel the energy in this room. Breathe deeply as we move into a time of contemplation. We recognize and honor the multitude of faith traditions represented here today within our community, within the city of Las Vegas. In honoring these many expressions of faith, we honor the languages and practices that call upon the divine by many names through many practices. So we pause together in this moment to allow each person to recognize that higher power or inner power and to ask blessings upon this gathering today. We offer blessings for this council, for the opportunity for new beginnings and continued progress. Bless and provide each one with guidance as they lead this city forward and onward. We offer blessings for those who have placed aside the mantle of leadership and know for them the satisfaction and fulfillment of the activities which will fill their days. Bless the new members of this council and our judiciary as they pick up a mantle of leadership cut of whole cloth that they may design and create from their individual perspective. Allow this transition to be one of ease and grace. Allow their tenure to be productive and prosperous, leading the city into a renaissance of adventure, prosperity, and growth. For the returning members, allow this melding of the new and the experienced to be effortless and energizing. Provide our mayor and councilpersons with the wisdom to make good choices that affect their lives and the lives of our community today and always. Allow them the patience to hear the concerns and issues of their constituents. Allow them to express the intention for the highest and greatest good of this city and its people. Allow them the resolve to stand in integrity, proudly promoting the accomplishments of our businesses and individuals. We offer blessings for those in attendance today, grateful for their presence and participation in the business of our city government, for their willingness to show up, to be heard, and to listen. As each person here today shares the celebration of a new beginning, we offer thanks for the blessings that have been received that allow this city to continue to thrive and prosper. Allow us to remain open and receptive to the unlimited bounty of the divine for the blessings which await us. May this day be remembered as the next new beginning of prosperity, activity, success, and honorable intention. For this we are grateful, and so we speak our word of faith, and so it is. Blessed be, peace, pace, shalom, salam, amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Very good.
We're taking a break after the swearing-ins, before the ceremonials.
Thank you very much. In honor of this day, we'd like to have the swearing in for the mayor, the City Council Ward 3, for municipal court judges, departments 2 and 3, and we'll have presentations and photographs with each of their families. Would Susan Roger and her family please come forward? David, how are you? Congratulations. Congratulations. Nice having you here. Congratulations. Good seeing you. Welcome to our new municipal court judge for Department 2, Susan Roger, her husband David, her daughter Holly, her mother and father Lois and Robert, and about half the neighborhood, I think. We're very pleased to have you with us today, Susan. At this time, I'm pleased to administer your oath of office. And where is the oath? Beverly? Thank you. All right. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the Constitution and government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and that you will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same, any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and further, that you are not under any direct or indirect obligation to vote for, appoint, or elect any person to any office, position, or employment in the city government of the City of Las Vegas, and further, that you will faithfully perform the duties of the office of municipal court judge in the City of Las Vegas on which you are about to enter, so help you God, and further, that your bona fide address is shown as indicated, and you'll immediately notify the city of any change of address during your term of office.
I do.
Very good. Thank you. Now, Judge Kukowski, who is retiring for the 5th time in the last month. It's one pension, but 5 retirements. She is going to have the honor of robing Judge Roger today. And the Mayor Pro Tem is going to present you with your certificate of election. And at this time, we're going to have some photos. We're going to have the judge with her family first, and then we'll have one with the council. Okay, Councilman Barlow is going to present you with this beautiful bouquet, Judge. And it's time for your photo. This is a family photo. Very good. And now we'll have a photo, with your permission, with the entire council. Good. Now I'm going to hand you the mic for a few words. Okay?
Great, thank you very much. I just want to thank the mayor. It's such an honor to have been sworn in by him today, and all the city council members who are present today. I want to thank all my friends and family who are here today. They've been an incredible support throughout this process, especially my husband, David. I have so many supporters and volunteers and well-wishers, and it really means a lot. And I want to thank the judges who have already welcomed me into municipal court, and I'm really looking forward to serving the public, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Judge. And Judge, please don't leave, because we're going to ask you to come up for a picture after Judge Almazi is sworn in, okay? With the entire court. Excellent. Okay. Now, would Judge Almazi's family please come up? Congratulations. Great. Everybody, please welcome our new municipal court judge for Department 3, Heidi Almasi, her husband Caesar, their daughters Nina and Hannah, and son Sandro, and her mother Kathy Lager Roberts. And we're pleased to have you all with us today. At this time, I'm pleased to administer your oath of office, and I understand that Nina and Hannah are going to hold the Bible for their mother's left hand. And Heidi, would you please raise your right hand? Do you, Heidi Almasi, solemnly swear that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the Constitution and government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and that you will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same, any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and further, that you are not under any direct or indirect obligation to vote for, appoint, or elect any person to any office, position, or employment in the city government of the City of Las Vegas, and that you will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Municipal Court Judge, Department 3 in the City of Las Vegas, on which you are about to enter, so help you God, and further, that your bona fide address is shown in all the documents regarding your filing, and will immediately notify the City of Las Vegas of any change of address during your term of office. Excellent. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Okay, fine. Now, I'm getting the hang of this. Heidi's husband Caesar is going to robe the judge. Very good. And the Mayor Pro Tem is going to hand you your certificate of election. And Councilman Barlow is going to hand you the beautiful roses. And Judge, we're going to ask you to say a few words since you have no hands.
Mayor, council members, I wanted to thank you. I want to thank the voters for the City of Las Vegas. This is a true honor for me. Early on, one of my teachers told me that if you want to stretch yourself and succeed in life, to surround yourself by exemplary people. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank former Justice Nancy Becker, who's here today with me, and Brad Zerbrick and Ben Little. All three of them taught me early on that there is honor in public service, and they led by example with integrity, and I appreciated that. I am very proud to follow in Nancy Becker's footsteps in taking the bench in the court that she started in. I could not have done this alone, and I thank the Filipino Americans and all of the groups that came out and took a chance on me and supported me. I couldn't be prouder and more honored to serve on this court. It is the best court, in my opinion, and the best city in the whole world. You guys know who you are, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will do everything I can, if I didn't have your support and vote, to earn it in the next 6 years. And it took me 38 years to meet the love of my life. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to have a family picture.
family picture. Good. Wonderful. And then if the family would have a seat and the judge remain here, and I'm going to ask all the municipal court judges, including our newest judge, Judge Roger, to please come up here and have a picture taken with the entire court. We all set?
She's going to get one to counsel.
Oh, the council first. Okay. And would the court please come up? Good luck. You'll do great. You'll do great. Great. Marty? Okay. Okay, this is for the court. Yeah, I think just the court. Just the court. Great, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, very good. Would Bob Coffin and his wife Mary House please come up and join us? Is your son with you?
Yes, Walter is here.
And Walter, their son is joining them here today. Congratulations. Hi, Walter. How are you? Good. I'm glad the whole family's here. This is great. We're very pleased to have you all with us today, and I'm pleased to administer the oath to you, Bob. Would you please raise your right hand? I, Bob Coffin, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the Constitution and government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and that I will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same, any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and further, that I am not under any direct or indirect obligation to vote for, appoint, or elect any person to any office, position, or employment in the city government of the City of Las Vegas, and further, that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of the Councilman, Ward 3 in the City of Las Vegas, on which I am about to enter, so help me God, and further, that your bona fide address is shown as indicated, and you will immediately notify the City of Las Vegas of any change of address during your term of office.
I will.
All right, congratulations. That's good. And the Mayor Pro Tem is going to hand you your certificate of election. And Councilman Barlow is going to hand the roses to Mary. And now, Bob, if you would have a photo just with your family, and then the council will join you. Great. Congratulations again. And now with all of us, Bob. With all of us.
Comments?
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank everyone here for being here, and well, what a house full of folks. I'm sure you all voted for me. My wife, Mary, my life partner, thank you very much, my darling, for being with me today, and my son, Walter, who has fought and won the battles here for us. I just want to say thank you. You know, I've served many of you for a good number of years in the legislature, but I realized it was time to come home and do the things that were most appropriate here to help affect all our lives on a daily basis. I couldn't have made it without the friends, the volunteers, the folks I've known in the 60 years I've grown up here. I particularly do want to thank, though, the members of the council who I'm going to join. I want to tell you that it's not an easy thing, I should say, to join a body so well established, so proud in their accomplishments. What a track record they have. I am about to assume a seat occupied by a steadfast, true, strong person, a man of his word, one who has served Ward 3 for 16 years, and he was the first person that I went to when I decided to run 2 years ago, to tell him that I hoped that I could do as good a job as he had done. And so to Gary Reese, I want to thank you for your public service, sir. We are truly honored to have had you. Gary has already promised to help me if I need it. Actually, he'll help if I don't, too. Thank you, Your Honor. It'll be a pleasure to serve with the other Mrs. Goodman. I'm delighted to have...
There's more than one.
Well, listen, I don't know. I don't keep track, Your Honor. I hope you do.
That's great. I think we have one more picture.
Oh, sure. OBG.
That's great. Terrific. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you very much. And our final ceremony is to administer the oath of office to our new mayor of the city of Las Vegas. It's my honor to have my wife, Carolyn G. Goodman, come to the podium. Thank you very much on her behalf. I'd like to introduce our family to you. Our daughter, Kara, if Kara would please come up. Our sons and daughter-in-law, if they would please come forward. Oscar Jr. and his wife, Anna, and their children, Olivia and Samuel. Ross and his wife, Emily, and their children, Caroline and Benjamin. Eric and his wife, Stephanie, and their children, Kate and Jacob. Yeah. Okay, Carolyn, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the Constitution and government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and that you will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same, any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and further, that you're not under any direct or indirect obligation to vote for, appoint, or elect any person to any office, position, or employment in the city government of the city of Las Vegas, and further, that you will faithfully perform the duties of the office of mayor in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada, on which you are about to enter, so help you God, and further, that your address is as indicated on all the filings, and you'll immediately notify the city of Las Vegas of any change of address during your term of office.
I will.
Okay.
But I need the microphone, I will. How am I? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Is this on? As loud as I am, all I can tell you is I am so excited of what's been going on in the city these past 12 years. And the only reason I filed it all was to continue the wonderful work having been envisioned by my husband and supported by the council. Nothing ever happens alone. It's all of us together, and it's each one of us who pays taxes. This is your city, this is my city, and it's been theirs. And I am so proud and honored to have been elected to support you and take this city forward. There is not a city in this nation that is getting an infusion as we are getting here. And if I can just remember to put my right foot in front of my left, and that you'll help me across the streets, we will get this city healthy, we will bring jobs, it will be an outstanding place for all of us to live, the health care, the arts, everything that you expect in your own homes. And I too want to thank Councilman Reese. You have been an inspiration to me. I'm only sorry you have not been cutting my hair all these years. And you notice the horn on my husband. He does save that every time he goes to the barber shop. But what an admirable job you've done. Your leadership has been phenomenal. And I know with Councilman Coffin coming forward and with the other Mrs. Goodman, we're going to be sensational. And, oh, absolutely. I mean, what an inspiration. He said I can call on him too, and you better believe it. I am going to be in his barber shop as well. I do also want to tell you, how can anybody not be inspired when you have a family like this beautiful family? So the accusation about the dynasty really is here. Believe me, these are wonderful, bright little people, and they're beautiful, and they've made my life so special. Most importantly, there has been nobody as lucky as I have been for the past 49 years to be married to somebody who has made me laugh through life as he has you through these 12 years, but the sincerity and truth and core values that he has. I am so proud of this, and I just hope he is pleased with how we go forward in this next term. I know I have a wonderful group of council people, and with Bob Coffin coming on, this is a sensational group. We will be pulling together to make sure that we don't disappoint you. I will do my best, I promise you, but the blessing has been this man, as you know. And I love you, and I thank you, and I'm going to try and do my best.
Okay, everybody look at the cameras. They're over here. Get. Look over here. Okay, and if the council would please join us. Good job. Thanks, Bill. Thank you for everything.
Excuse me, could I? Be prepared for the next 4 years. Thank you very much. I have a special gift, as you all know who've been reading the newspapers. I was asked to clean up behind the mayor. And now I want to give it to the gentleman who said for me to clean up. Councilman Ross, this is yours.
And Mayor, I'm looking forward to helping you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's great. All right. Before we turn the gavel over to the new mayor, I would like to make a very brief statement, a very brief remarks, which is unlike me. It usually takes me 5 minutes to say my name, but this is a wonderful moment for me. This is a moment where I feel that the 12 years that I try my very, very best to do the very, very best for the very, very best city in the United States and perhaps the world, that it comes to an end as far as I'm concerned. But we're leaving the city in great hands. The council is a strong council. They're a council who's dedicated to doing the right thing as far as moving us forward. The new councilman has all the right instincts to pick up where my Mayor Pro Tem left off and to carry us forward. And my wife, 49 years, is the most special person I know. She is the mother of these wonderful children who came up here, and the grandmother and the mother-in-law, and she raised them, in effect. I was busy representing my clients, running around the country and making a living, and Carolyn instilled certain values in our family, and those values, basically from our children, rubbed off on me instead of the other way. Because when I came home, I saw that they were all excelling and achieving and trying to strive for excellence. And that's what this job is all about. Carolyn Goodman is going to take us to places that the city never dreamed of going. Going to take us to, as they say in sports, the whole next level. And you should feel very comfortable at the conclusion of today's proceedings that the city is being left in wonderful hands. I want to thank everybody for how kind they've been to me, for their friendship. It's been an extraordinary ride. Not one bad day, not one regret. Everything has been perfect. And I want to thank you for allowing that to take place and making the past 12 years of my life the happiest. So with that, I'm going to turn the gavel over to my bride and tell her that I've never used this in 12 years, but it has great trajectory.
Protect me.
And if anybody messes with her, just take it and throw it at their head. Thanks, everybody, for being here today.
What is it? Okay.
Oh, okay, here.
Thank you all. Please, I'm going to talk through this. Everybody, please be seated and thank you. And we have, I have some closing comments before we proceed with the remainder of our ceremony. That's you. Wait a minute. Can you believe this? This is my first opening remark, and it's wrong. I'm going over here. Okay. The recognition of the Citizen of the Month. This is a ceremonial portion of the agenda for our first item. Councilman Ross is going to recognize the July Citizen of the Month. Councilman Ross.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Thank you all for coming down here. A few months ago, I met a young lady in my office out in Centennial Hills that exemplified the reason why I ran for public office, and it was to serve others. I had the opportunity to sit down with a young lady by the name of Caitlin Bedlinger. At that time, Caitlin was a 7th grade student at Seville Middle School and a member of the National Junior Honor Society. Caitlin scheduled an appointment to talk to me about a community service project that she was working on called Shirts for the Homeless. After speaking with Caitlin about her project, I was excited to support her efforts and help local charities. We put a collection box outside the Ward 6 satellite office at the Centennial Hills Community Center and asked for support from the community and in my Ward 6 newsletter. Caitlin, would you come down here and bring your mother with you? Connie, would you come down with her? Give her a round of applause. Now, the important part of this morning is Caitlin had no idea what she was doing here. Good morning, young lady. Stand right here and look good for the camera. Connie, stand right next to your daughter, if you would. Connie works for us out at Nellis Air Force Base. Appreciate you, Connie, helping me with our secret plan here. The outpouring of support was overwhelming. After reading the article in the Ward 6 newsletter, the DECA students from Arborview High School started collecting shirts for Caitlin as well. Because of the tremendous outpouring of generosity, Caitlin was able to help 5 local organizations: Friends of the Desert, Shannon West Youth Center, Shade Tree Shelter, Whitney Elementary School, and Vietnam Vets of America. Recently, Caitlin's story was featured on Channel 13 News. This Saturday, Channel 13 will follow Caitlin as she delivers the shirts to those organizations. To date, Caitlin has collected over 1,500 pieces of clothing for those who need it. Please help me recognize Caitlin Bedlinger, our Citizen of the Month. Caitlin, tell us about this adventure, because as I hand this microphone to her, I want everyone to recognize, and even those watching at home, how important this young lady is in this community, and it's just one. She has inspired many others to serve, and this is what it's all about, giving back to those less fortunate. Caitlin, thank you very much for your service. Now share with us your adventure with us. I'll hold that for you.
It's been really exciting. I've met a lot of great people, Councilman Ross, and I'd like to thank the DECA advisor at Arborview, Miss Malone. She's really inspired me to go farther with this, and I could have never done it without all the people who have been helping and supporting me, my mom, my brother, and all the people who donated clothes, because I never thought it would actually go this far.
Look where you're at today. Give her another round of applause, everybody. Great example to follow. Connie, you want to say a few words?
I just want to say how proud I am of my daughter for taking what we thought was going to be a small community service, and she's just grown with the power of the people that have donated. And every time we went to pick up clothing, you could just see her grow more and more, and we just want to thank everyone in Las Vegas for participating in this. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, Caitlin, before you leave, turn around, look at this sign. This sign will be on 4th Street for the entire month as recognizing you as our Citizen of the Month. Again, everybody give her a round of applause for her efforts.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Caitlin. What a wonderful example for everybody. Today also is recognition of Collector Car Appreciation Day. For our final item, Councilman Steve Wolfson is going to recognize a group of local residents and their fabulous classic cars. Councilman Wolfson.
Thank you, Mayor Carolyn Goodman. Sounds nice, sounds nice. Okay, for our last ceremonial, it is time to recognize a pretty great organization in town. As the mayor said, Collector Car Appreciation Day. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to look at some of these collector cars that were outside earlier today, but they were phenomenal. As many people know, I host a trunk or treat car show in October each year, and it's a combination of trick or treat and a car show. And many of these collector car owners bring their cars out for display, and it's just a great event. I've come to appreciate not only the cars, but the people who personify these cars and who are so passionate about these cars. A lot of time, energy, and money goes into these rolling works of art, and last year the United States Senate, by passing Senate Resolution 154, set aside one day a year to celebrate and raise awareness of the vital role that automotive restoration and collection plays in American society. All across the country, July 8th, which is this Friday, there will be events to celebrate collector cars and car hobbyists and recognize the importance of the motorsports and car restoration industries as valuable providers of jobs in our communities. Collector Car Appreciation Day is the brainchild of a group called SEMA, which is the Specialty Equipment Market Association, and its offshoots, the Automotive Restoration Market Organization and the Hot Rod Industry Alliance. The SEMA convention, held in Las Vegas, each year boasts 100,000 attendees and over 2,000 exhibitors. Over 1,500 new car products are introduced each year at the show, and it's consistently a large economic boost to the Valley. Today we have some representatives from the collector car community who got up at the crack of dawn just to bring their cars out here. And at this time I'd like to invite Art Cam. Art, where are you? Is that you, Art? Come on up. And you got a bunch of folks with you, right? These are all, do we want them all to come up? Yes. Come on up. Let's have a round of applause for Art Cam. Art is the director of the Las Vegas Cruisin' Association. Not cruising, cruisin'. Okay. Art and the other directors, members, volunteers, and supporters of the Cruisin' Association spend countless hours throughout the year organizing several large car shows, cruisin' events, and charitable cruises. The Cruisin' Association is a nonprofit organization started in the early 1980s. So, Art, would you say a few words, and then I've got something to give you. Did you expect this? Okay. Turn around and face the audience.
Few words. First of all, thank you, Councilman Wolfson, Mayor, and the council for having us here. And we're here displaying our cars, and we like everybody to, well, see them and take pictures with them and ask questions and things like that. It's a community project, and we want to keep the history of the automobile because it's been 115 years since the onstart of the automobile. And we like to keep it going for our kids and grandkids and for everyone else. Thank you.
Art, let me ask you one question. Is the annual Collector Car Appreciation Day July 6th or July 8th?
It's the 8th. It's Friday.
Okay.
Second Friday of July.
Okay, then this has no meaning because it says July 6th. So I am going to proclaim this, but we're going to have to get you a new one, okay, because this says July 6th. But in all seriousness, on behalf of Mayor Carolyn Goodman and the entire City Council, we ask all citizens to join us in recognizing the contributions motorsports and car restoration make to our community. So we hereby proclaim July 8th, 2011 as Collector Car Appreciation Day here in Las Vegas. And I'll get you another one that says the right date, okay? So congratulations. You're very welcome. How long are your cars going to be parked outside?
We'll be there till after the
Okay, for another few minutes. So I'd invite everybody I think we're going to take a little break here, to go out and look at some fabulous cars right outside. So thank you very much, Art.
Thank you.
Okay, you want Art to turn around? Art? Oh, okay.
The picture. Oh. Everybody. Right along the side there.
See, you got your way, didn't you?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. And everybody's invited outside. We're going to take a brief recess now before we begin the regular council meeting. So please go out and look at these wonderful cars. I don't know if they're for sale, but if anything looks good for a dad as going away present, keep your eyes open. See you in a bit. 10 minutes? How about 10 minutes, and we will start at 10 o'clock sharp. Thank you for coming. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. So that's on.
Mayor can shut you.
That's on right now?
The July 6, 2011 meeting of the City Council is please called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These procedures are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 under closed caption for our hearing impaired viewers. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m. and also on Friday, despite my husband's comments, at 4 a.m. Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits. Once outside, assemble on the Las Vegas Boulevard side of the property. Employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it is safe to re-enter the building. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise? We did that. So isn't it wonderful? Thank you, Councilman Ross. And for that, your reward is to make your announcement about this handsome gentleman down here, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a young man here who's the son of my administrative assistant, Becky Skousen, and I would like him to introduce himself and tell us what Boy Scout troop he's from and why he's here today.
My name is Josh Skousen, and my troop is 422. And the reason I'm here is for my citizenship in the community merit badge. I have to attend a city council meeting.
Awesome. And I know Councilman Ross is pretty involved in the Boy Scouts. How do you do?
He did a great job, with the mayor's permission. He did a great job. And Josh, it's good to have you here. And if there are other Scout units in this community who would like to participate in this fashion, I think all of us would welcome the opportunity, Mayor, to have them come and earn their citizenship in the community merit badge.
Thank you, Josh. Welcome. Assembly Bill 257 of the 2011 session of the Nevada Legislature amended NRS 241020 regarding public comment at meetings that are subject to the open meeting law. If a public body chooses not to allow public comment regarding each agenda item scheduled for action, the body must allow public comment regarding action items before any such items are heard. In compliance with the Assembly Bill 257, the initial public comment period on the City Council agenda is intended for public comment regarding action items that otherwise would not be open for public comment. This initial public comment period is not intended to be in substitution for or in addition to public comment that otherwise would be allowed, such as in the case of zoning items and other items concerning which the public comment normally is allowed. Public comment regarding such items normally should be offered at the time those items are heard, so as to enable the council and the city clerk to consider and place those items in the appropriate context. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited.
Good morning.
We are going to put a 2-minute time limit on this, correct? City Clerk. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Please.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor Goodman, Council.
Please state your name.
Stanley Washington, Las Vegas. Is it on? I don't know if the swearing-in portion of this was an action item or not, but it certainly was on the agenda. And I certainly want to take this opportunity to congratulate you on your new position there. Hopefully we'll be able to go ahead and work together and cover areas that your former mayor was not able to cover, so we're certainly looking forward to that. I think it's no better opportunity to go ahead and bring forth to you a little bit of update relative to the opening doors, which is something I brought to this council 6 months ago, handed out letters and complete packets, if everybody remembers back at that time. The plan calls for both educating the public and attempting to partnership with government leaders. To that point, I have initiated requests for resolutions from all jurisdictions in the state. I have here now a resolution that I'm working with at the county. Commissioner Chris G. is bringing it forth. I'm also working with the Gaming Commission. I'm also working with a number of other bodies to do that. I would like the City of Las Vegas to also go ahead and join in with a resolution to support Opening Doors, which is the federal plan to eliminate homelessness among veterans by 2015 and homeless among everybody by 2020. This is something I would ask Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian and Councilman Ross to spearhead at this body. Chris G. and Commissioner Susan Bragger spearheading at the county level. Chairman Barnhart is spearheading at the Gaming Commission level. I'll be addressing the Convention Authority on the 12th when they meet, and as well as the SNEC Board meeting. So that's what I would like to go ahead and say, Your Honor, and I think there's no better act than your opening act than to go ahead and receive a resolution that would support those in uniform who've sacrificed so much for us.
Thank you, Mr. Washington, for your comments. Please give it to the clerk right here. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. I'm not sure I understood that assembly bill, so I'm speaking to an item on the agenda.
You're doing very well. Okay. That is the correct interpretation.
I am Juanita Clark, and I'm speaking on and the ideas that are coming forth here come from the Charleston Neighborhood Preservation, and we have several, and so I can bring them all forward, or just item 15. We wanted to know what is the meaning of contribution in this item, since the $13,000 listed is likely not the total budget.
That was item number 15 you're addressing?
Yes.
Okay, we will make note of that, and at the time that we address it, we would ask you then at that point, City Clerk, is that correct, to be able to come up and make comment to that?
So I should wait then until that item comes up.
Was there anything in the specifics of that, or just your understanding of what item 15 is?
Well, it was our understanding that there is a contribution, and the contribution is $13,000, and so it was vague to us of what that meant, because we know that we're pretty sure that that's not the entire budget, and because this is on a consent item agenda, usually all of the consent items are passed at one time, are approved or deleted at one time.
Mayor,
and so that's why I was coming up at this time.
With your permission, Mayor, I would, in light of Mrs. Clark's questions, I think it'd be appropriate to pull these items off the consent agenda and have Bill Arndt give a report on what these are, so the public understands it.
All right. And you have a copy of our... Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Your Honor, fellow council and staff. I'm Alan Karcher, President of Karcher Camel Insurance, and I'm just looking at the consent items of 25 and 26. All I'm asking is if I could have a backup on those so I could see what the marketing was on that and see if the city is getting the best value for its deal. Since this is going out of state, I think that somebody here locally should take a look at this, and I want to go on record with those two items.
25 and 26.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then,
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I request that those items, 25 and 26, also be pulled forward off the consent agenda.
Okay. 25 and 26 also pulled off the consent agenda. Please.
I didn't think so. Good evening. My name is Teddy Russell, the fifth, and the first one with the high and holy honor to say, welcome to Las Vegas, Mayor Carolyn Goodman.
Thank you.
May the dynasty continue. I wrote the president, the vice president. I said, I can predict tomorrow will be the best day of my life because Lady Carolyn is mayor of Las Vegas. And guess what? Oscar is only the best. That's all I have. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, if I can interject again.
Yes, Councilman.
Mr. Karcher, did you get your answer?
Yes, sir.
Then I would actually rather leave 25 and 26 on the consent agenda.
Okay, we will leave those on. Since you are satisfied, you have your answer.
Yes.
Correct. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilman. Any other members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 9. For possible action, any items from the morning session that the council staff and or the applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, or withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Councilman Wolfson.
Yes, Mayor Goodman, I've been asked to handle this matter. It's my understanding, item number 63, bill number 2011-25, a request has been made to strike this item, the request by the recommending committee. And agenda item number 65, bill number 2011-27, a request has been made to obey this item to the July 20th, 2011 meeting, and that request is by Councilman Bob Coffin. And so that would be my motion.
I call for the vote. Sorry, my mouse. At least I'm not holding my mouse in the air like my husband. We're up somewhere. Post, please. Thank you, Councilman Wilson. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular City Council meeting of June 1, 2011, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Once again, I believe I've been asked to handle this agenda item number 10, so I would move to approve the minutes.
So moved. Vote on the motion. Post, please. Motion carries. Item number 19 involves a transfer. Do we go there? Items 11 through 56, with the exception, and I'm going to go back to this, of certain items are on the consent agenda, are considered to be routine, or recommended for approval by the departments, and may be enacted in one motion. Item number 19 involves a transfer of redevelopment tax increment to the county for the lease and the operating expenses of the Metroplex. Metroplex is owned by Mark Fine, who is the co-owner of the VA clinic at 1707 West Charleston, with my husband, Oscar Goodman. Because my husband's business partner will directly benefit from this item, I am disclosing my conflict and am abstaining from voting on this matter. Which are the exceptions, City Clerk, on these that will now be there?
11 through 15, correct, Councilman?
11 through 15. On the consent agenda are considered to be routine or recommended for approval by the departments and may be enacted in one motion. Are there any other items the council wishes to bring forward? With none, therefore, vote on the motion. Mine is not coming up for some reason. We have a glitch. So much for technology. Here it comes. It's not coming up. Sorry.
It's asking us to vote again.
There it comes. There it comes.
It's asking us to vote again.
So are we voting again?
Are you asking us to vote again? Should we withdraw vote and re-vote?
Now we vote.
Except mine continues to say yay instead of abstain. Okay, please post. And Councilman Coffin did not vote?
Councilors, are they affirmative? I did vote yay.
Yay. From Councilman Coffin, if you will amend your record there. Thank you. So all of these, pardon? Go back to 11?
Because we pulled them off the consent, so now we'll go back to 11.
Okay, so will this just call for a vote on number 11? Okay, Mr. Arndt, on number 11, on the consent agenda? Okay, 11 through 15.
Thank you, Mayor Goodman. For the record, Bill Arndt, Director, Economic and Urban Development. Items 11 through 15 on the consent agenda are for operating budgets for the affiliate companies created by the City of Las Vegas. These affiliate companies were created for specific purposes, each one for a specific economic development purpose. Yes, Councilwoman.
Failed. The last post on the screen. So do we just ignore that, or do? It must have just come up. Okay. I just didn't want to get into something else until that was settled. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Items 11 through 15 are operating budgets for these affiliate companies which have been created for specific economic development purposes, each one for a different purpose. But generally, and as a sum, they've been formed specifically for doing economic development and redevelopment projects in downtown Las Vegas, including Symphony Park and also including the sale of the existing City Hall to Resort Gaming Group for future occupancy by Zappos. Each of these operating budgets, with the exception of item number 13, is just that, an operating budget limited to very specific operating items, insurance for directors and officers of each corporation, filing fees, and very nominal fees to maintain the existence of the corporation. City Parkway 5, which was item number 13, has additional expense budgeted for Symphony Park and for project management costs. I'd be glad to answer any specific questions that you may have.
On Mrs. Clark's request on that $13,000.
Yes. For item number 15 is specific for $13,000 budget for a new corporation which we recently formed, 400 Stewart Avenue Corporation. And as the name indicates, that company was formed specifically for the City Hall project under development by Resort Gaming Group and Zappos. We formed that company so that to help facilitate the real estate transaction. Cities don't buy and sell real estate under their name frequently, and it made the transaction a lot easier. Specifically, as was previously approved at a prior council meeting, the real estate transaction and the structure of the transaction was one through which we did not get all the sale proceeds we're not anticipating to get all the sale proceeds at the close of escrow, but rather we are taking seller financing, meaning getting some of the sale proceeds paid back over time. So in order to divest us of the real estate, but yet maintain that seller financing and get the payment over time, it was determined by our staff in working with the City Attorney's Office that we could create a separate corporation to do just that. So 400 Stewart Avenue Corporation will be in existence to get the sale revenue over time from Resort Gaming Group for the office lease to Zappos. That $13,000 budget is specifically just to maintain the operations of the corporation for next year to facilitate the transaction.
Mrs. Clark, is that clear for you? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Dorrant.
Mayor, then I would move to approve agendas items 11 through 15.
Please vote. I voted, but it's...
Click it again. There you go. Sometimes you got to do it twice. And then say post.
Post. Okay. Motion carries. And now, the ones that were pulled, correct? No. 57, right. Okay, discussion items. And, okay, let me go through those. Okay, report concerning the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program Fiscal Year 2011, local solicitation, catalog of federal domestic assistance, number 16.738 for funding to support all components of the criminal justice system, all wards.
Morning, Mayor, City Councilor Orlando Sanchez, Deputy City Manager. On June 6, 2011, the City of Las Vegas received notification from the Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, of the $1,273,801 in funding eligibility and naming us the fiscal agent for the funding. In addition, they gave us relative deadlines, timelines, what we have to do to get the money to be eligible for it. On that same date, we contacted via email Clark County and Metropolitan Police Department and other agencies that participated in JAG in the past to inform them of the eligibility of the funds. On June 16th, we put public notification in the Review Journal, transparency, making sure anyone that wants to apply for it, we're eligible to apply for the funds. On June 20th, 2011, notification letters were delivered to you and the rest of the council to meet requirements that governing body be notified prior to the application being received on July 21st, so you were all notified of that. On June 22nd, local entities submitted their applications. On June 28th, the local law enforcement advisory committee met to hear and determine application recommendations, which Councilman Anthony and Councilman Wolfson sit on that committee. The application is due on July 21st, so the rationale for this item being before you today is to meet federal regulations requiring that the governing body be notified of the FY11 Justice Assistant Grant Funding application and the public notice be given to the local community. The following recommendations of the LELAC and the governing bodies for the City of Las Vegas, Clark County are requested to confirm the LELAC funding recommendations and enter into memorandum of understanding for the respective applications. The funding that was recommended by LELAC is as follows: Clark County Justice Court, $103,333. Project Real, Your Day in Court, $18,533. Project Real, Play by the Rules, $22,900. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, $245,337, and that's for the replacement of tasers. Boys and Girls Club of Las Vegas, $50,000. Southern Nevada Police Athletic League, $45,000. City of Las Vegas Municipal Court, $267,763. Boys and Girls Clubs of Southern Nevada, $50,000. Nevada Child Seekers Case Management, $48,529. Nevada Child Seeker Abduction, $43,100. Clark County District Attorney, $229,363. And the administrative fee charged by the City of Las Vegas for administering the program, $99,943,000, for a total of $1,273,801. And there'll be further, the memorandums of understanding will be forthcoming, probably in the first meeting in August. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Ms. Fretwell, anything to add to this?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor Goodman,
Thank you.
please.
There's no, excuse
I'm sorry.
me?
I'm sorry. Mr. Sanchez, what committee is it that I sit with Councilman Anthony?
It is the Local Law Enforcement Advisory Committee, and you had Chief Coyne sitting on your behalf on that day.
Okay. But other than that day, Councilman Anthony and I sit on it together?
Actually, there's only one representative, but Commissioner Weekly is going to make it permanent 2 members of the City Council.
Okay.
So,
it's
we're
yet
trying
to
to
be 2.
Correct, yes, sir.
Thank you. We don't have to change the sheet.
Thank
at this
you.
point.
We
don't have
won't.
to change that sheet.
We don't. It's 2 on our sheet. Thank you so much. There's no motion for this item. We'll move on to item 58. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Okay, plan. Agenda item number 58, abeyance item, discussion for possible action regarding the efforts of the Business License Work Group of the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition to streamline, yes, the licensing process across jurisdictions. Lovely. Mr.
Glenn
Fagg.
Director of Planning. I have with me Karen Duddleston, who is our Business Licensing Manager. We're here today to give you a report on the efforts of the Business Licensing Work Group of the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition. And with that, I'll turn it over to Karen for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Regional Licensing Task Group I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. There we go. There we go. Thank you. This group began in February of 2010. At the end of the legislative session in 2009, AB 494 requested local governments to look at streamlining and possible consolidations of facilities and organizations, what we could do across municipal lines. That work group got started under the Regional Planning Coalition and looking at a variety of things, everything from work cards, background investigations, and business licensing. Those initial discussions were with the state agencies as it regarded business licensing and working with the Secretary of State's on their new business portal. After that bill was passed and going forward, the legislature this session took a closer look and looked specifically at a bill which was entitled SB 110, which specifically looked at contractors licensing. Those two processes came together over this last year under the Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition, and that group asked the Business Licensing Work Group to bring those two bills together to look at our business license processes and see what we could do across lines and report back to each of those city councils. Our report is coming back to you today. That group had an opportunity last week to report their findings to the Regional Planning Coalition. What they did was that they identified the different business license information technology systems that are currently in use throughout the valley, and each entity has its own unique and different information technology system. They identified the different ordinances throughout the jurisdictions that we would need to take a look at in order to try to start bringing some of our processes, our procedures, our fees in line with one another. And they began looking at the costs of this project. The work group identified a variety of categories that are mobile in nature that they would like to pursue. They brought that back to the coalition and then were directed to take up the immediate task of SB 110, which must be implemented by June 17th of 2011. And that is specifically to contractors. And the city councils under that bill must adopt ordinances and an interlocal agreement to do a multi-jurisdictional contractor's license.
Excuse me, you said June 17th of 2011 it was accomplished?
It was signed, so
Okay.
we have 1 year from that date.
Thank
So
you.
we have until next June to get the ordinances and the interlocal agreement in place. So the current status of that group is that they have worked real diligently at looking at all of our fees on contractors specifically, and would like to bring back to each of the city councils an alignment of fee proposals. Common descriptions are being written for all of our ordinances, creating common renewal cycles. Some entities renew them in the month in which you applied. Others are annual, others are semi-annual, so we've got all of those changes to address over the next year. We've had initial discussions and outlined an interlocal agreement and all of the issues that we are going to have to bring to you to make decisions on how we're going to put that together, and how we're going to securely share data between the jurisdictions is probably going to be one of the largest obstacles, and the cost associated with the information technology that's going to be required to get real data and get it securely between those entities. And then they have also worked with the Secretary of State's office on the business portal. So this group reported back on June 28th to that Regional Planning Coalition and sought direction from them. Based on the other entities, what they are interested in at this time from the other entities in the Regional Planning Coalition is asking this work group to go forward to implement SB 110 on contractors licensing, to have consistent expiration dates in May and November so that those would be renewed semi-annually for our contractors. They would apply and pay all of their fees at one jurisdiction, and then behind the scenes those jurisdictions would exchange fees and all of the data for our licenses, and you would actually get your license at one location. They also ask us to investigate the expansion of multi-jurisdictional licenses and that model to other businesses that are mobile in nature. Investigate florist delivery, furniture delivery, those sorts of things where we have mobile units going out. And the last item that the work group asked and before the Regional Planning Coalition was to work instead of on the concept of a no wrong door where you could literally go to any entity and get your business license, realizing that we have the complications of planning and zoning, different fees, different rules and regulations which make our communities unique, is the concept of a virtual no wrong door through technology, where you could actually go to a website, start your process there. If you were in the wrong jurisdiction or needed access to multiple jurisdictions, that website would get you where you needed to go. So that's where the group is at this point in time. Our task today is to ask for any feedback, any direction from this council to see where we may go on your behalf over this next year.
Please, any of the council questions?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mrs. Dillson. I appreciate that presentation. I just want to make this comment as I'm listening to you and watching all of the background information on this. I'm challenged that the legislature actually had to have all of us as cities and municipalities sit down and do this through legislation. We should have done this already. This is the kind of forward thinking that we need to make it easier to do business, certainly in the city of Las Vegas. And I'm a little selfish when it comes to the city of Las Vegas. I want to be the leader in everything that we do in Southern Nevada. And so, good job. Thanks for what you're doing, and thanks to the Regional Planning Coalition for what they're doing. Councilwoman, I know you sit on that, so I appreciate those efforts, because this is exactly where we need to go economically for future growth and development. You've got to make it easy to do business in the city.
Are any of the municipalities already up online doing business this way?
There's some capabilities to pay fees. One of the tasks that I've been given is to get the City of Las Vegas online with applications, and we are working as quickly as possible to accomplish that for you.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments?
No, I think that was a good summary of the work that's been going on, and as we all know, it's been going on for several months. And the other day, somebody asked me, well, are we doing these other things too? But I think what we found is as we try to do all of them, it got too complicated. So this is what we're centering on now, and we feel if we get this accomplished, then we will be able to move to the others. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Do we need a motion on this? You can take one. To support?
Let's say we approve.
To accept the report.
Move to
Thank
accept
you.
that report, Mayor.
Did you hear Councilman Ross has moved to accept that? Please vote. Post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. It's very exciting. We've been waiting. Agenda item number 59, discussion for possible action regarding a 6-month review of a packaged license, Shoshani and Jargis DBA Family Food 2, 1602 H Street, Ward 5, Councilman Barlow.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning, Council.
Sorry, excuse me, yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor. Karen Dudleston, Business Licensing Manager. On January 5th, the council reviewed the conditions for this packaged liquor for Family Foods 2, located at 1602 H Street, and the council made several recommendations on conditions. First, the hours of operation were to be 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. They were to hire security personnel. They were to install a video surveillance system, post signs inside and outside of the store, work with Metro and security to enforce trespassing, and to enforce a no loitering and no alcohol consumption within 1,000 feet of the establishment. The council requested that we monitor this business over 6 months and bring it back to you with a report, and we're prepared to do that today. One of the specific requests of this council was what kind of calls Metro was getting, and I'm pleased to inform you that as of this week, in checking with Metro, that there have been no calls for service from this location since January. Also on June 16th, your compliance staff from Business Licensing went out to take a look at this business in detail and go through all of your conditions and all of your regulations, and found in that inspection that the business complied in all areas that were concerned and noted at the council meeting. All their licenses were properly posted, their current employee list was posted, the signage was in place, and there was no open containers. The postings indicated that no open containers could be within 1,000 feet. At this point in time, the applicant is here and will be pleased to answer any questions.
Could you introduce yourself, sir, please?
Salar Shoshani. I'm the partner of the Family Food 2.
And sir?
Family Jargis, partner from Family Food.
Wonderful, wonderful report. Thank you. Is there a motion, Councilman Barlow?
Yes, there is, Mayor. I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item subject to all conditions. That would be my motion at this time. And thank you all for a wonderful job that you do in the community, and please keep up the good work.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Mayor.
Please vote on the motion. Post. Motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen. Keep it going. Thank you. And now we're on to resolutions, and agenda item number 60, R30-2011, discussion for possible action regarding a resolution finding the office lease agreement between the City of Las Vegas and Barrister Global Services Network, Inc., located within a portion of the 4th floor of the Development Services Center, 333 North Rancho, is in the best interest of the public. And so, Mr. Arendt.
Thank you, Mayor Goodman. Again, for the record, Bill Arntz, Director, Economic and Urban Development. This is an exciting item. One of the things that we've been working on aggressively in our department is not only focusing on the urban core, but also focusing on jobs. And you see that certainly in the header of the slide. We're getting more and more progressive in trying to think creatively in how we attract industry and new jobs to the city. And I think this item before you today is a great example of that. Today I'm going to go over what we've labeled a first look job strategy for surplus property owned by the City of Las Vegas. The city is a moderately sized city. We don't own a lot of real estate like other very large cities in the U.S. like a Chicago or New York City, but we do have real estate, and in some areas have some surplus property. So we want to think strategically what is the best use for that property. I'm also going to talk to you about the subject of today, which is a new company that we've attracted outside of the state by the name of Barrister Global Services Network. We're going to talk about an economic development incentive that we're offering in order to attract the company here and also grow the company here and create new jobs here. I'm going to explain the structure of the incentive and how it works, talk about the economic impact as well as the long-term jobs benefit. So what is this first look strategy and why is it important? As you know, as a city and within the state of Nevada, we do not have a lot of what I would characterize as cash incentives that other communities throughout the country have. When we're competing for new jobs, whether it be growing jobs locally or bringing new companies in, we have to look at the competitive landscape throughout the country. And when we do that and we look at what we have as strategic advantages of locating here, we do not have, generally speaking, cash incentives, nor do we have, except for a few instances, tax incentives to offer a new business locating here. So we have to think strategically and creatively, and that's what we've done. We've, through the leadership of the manager's office, the city formed a facility reuse evaluation team, and we've looked at property that the city owns in its entire inventory, and we've looked at where it makes sense. Can we offer property that we're not using today that we could characterize as surplus as a first look for locating new or expanding businesses? Again, whether businesses are located here in the valley and are growing and need a space and support, or whether they're new businesses seeking to locate in Las Vegas from outside the market. In doing this, we're providing a non-cash incentive effectively, and what we can do is we can offer the space below fair market rents. So it's an incentive to a business to locate within the city, within our city's real estate. And we do it where it makes sense. We match the business needs to the city's property inventory. So one opportunity we have is the DSC on North Rancho. This is a floor plan of the fourth floor of the Development Services Center, 333 North Rancho, near Rancho Drive and US 95. You see there called out 2 spaces. There are actually 3 spaces delineated on the site plan, the floor plan. The center, of course, is the elevator and the stairwell and some common area. Then you see on the top right-hand side, that space that's already occupied. To the left, which is actually to the south of the building, you see the area highlighted with the blue arrow, which is premises, and then space highlighted with a green arrow as is option. And that's, both of those spaces are available for new business. So what is the opportunity? The opportunity is Barrister Global Services Network. And a point here is we learn of new opportunities and new business prospects through a variety of ways. On occasion, we will issue requests for proposal to try to solicit new business, but most of the best opportunities in the field of economic development come through relationships, and this is just that case. The company, Barrister Global Services Network, is headquartered in Hammond, Louisiana, which is outside of New Orleans in Louisiana, and as you see, founded in 1976. And they actually located in Louisiana and were recruited to leave from Syracuse, New York to Louisiana by our own Scott Adams, our Chief Urban Redevelopment Officer. And Mr. Adams developed a relationship with the company, and the company learned of what was happening in Las Vegas. The company is an IT services company that has customer services as one focus. They also service equipment and go out into the field as well. They've been watching very closely what's been happening in the Las Vegas business community, and specifically one of our most exciting opportunities was Zappos. That why has Zappos been able to grow here in Las Vegas? Well, one of the answers to that question is they've been able to find talented workers and keep them. And so Barrister has been following what's happening with Zappos. They have some challenges, as you'll hear later from one of the company's principals, about operating in Louisiana. They were interested in moving their location to Las Vegas. Because they're in the IT industry, providing services to their customers and their clientele, in some instances on a 24/7 basis, they needed to be able to have what we would call a startup operation while they keep their base in Louisiana so that they can keep their client base. So they did not have the luxury of closing down the plant and their center, their 80,000-foot headquarters in Louisiana, picking up and moving, and then starting over. They had to effectively, if you will, start a second operation, and that's what they're looking to do. Their initial facility, they're looking to house 20 employees. They're actually relocating 1 employee and going to recruit 19 employees at a minimum to start. And because of that, they're interested in that space, which I've labeled the premises, the initial 3,900 square feet. Their second phase, and their intention, as you'll hear later, is they intend to relocate the entire company and the headquarters from Louisiana to Las Vegas with a job impact of 200 employees, 200 new positions in Las Vegas. So what does it take to recruit this company? Again, we've come up with a non-cash incentive using our real estate inventory. And this is just a simple chart to show the value of that incentive and what rent we're foregoing. Part of this agenda item, as you know, we have, whenever we offer an incentive through real estate, where we either sell or lease real estate below fair market value, as required by law, we have to disclose what is the value of the incentive and why are you doing it. Are you doing it for economic development or redevelopment purposes? And if you are, there's an exemption under the law to sell property or lease property below fair market value, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're leasing property below fair market value. So we had 2 appraisals. The higher of the 2 appraisals came out for a monthly rent for that space, the premises space, when you include a base rent of $1.75 per square foot, plus a common area maintenance or a CAM charge of 25 cents per foot based on how much common areas typically in office buildings in the marketplace. That yields a gross full-service rent of $2 per square foot. If you take that monthly rent and spread it over the 2-year period, that rent equates to a little bit over $190,000. Again, this is what an appraiser is saying. If we were to get high appraised value in the marketplace, that is what we could get for a 2-year period. What rent are we charging? We've negotiated a rent, again, the idea being to incubate them for a very short period of time, get them up and running here over a 2-year period. We've negotiated a 2-year rent discount from the $2 down to 41 cents per square foot, which you gross that over a 24-month period, and the size of the space is a little bit over $39,000. The difference between those two, $151,000, that is the value of the incentive. Again, it's a non-cash incentive, so we're not having to write a check to the business. We're not having to do that. But what we are doing is we're taking less rent than what an appraiser says we could get on the marketplace. In actuality, today, the space that's vacant at Development Services Center and in this office market, conceivably, it would take some time to rent the space. So even if we auction the space to the private marketplace, we would at least take a startup period of probably at least 3 to 6 months to probably find a tenant willing to pay that $2 per square foot, if we could find that tenant. But again, rather than trying to look at just revenue to the city for that real estate as surplus property, instead we're looking at the bigger picture of jobs and economic impact for our community, and we're looking to make that space available. The city is also offering a rent credit during that 2-year period, taxes that would be generated by the lease, which is a very nominal amount, less than $8,000. We're offering that also as a credit to offset the rent during that 2-year period.
Mr. Arndt?
Yes,
by
sir.
way of the mayor, are you referencing tax increment financing? Is that what you're referencing as far as the rollback in the taxes?
Not exactly. Again, the concept of the lease is a short-term lease, 2-year lease, to get the business in as little expense as possible so they can focus on investing in the business and growing the business here. They're not wanting to pay any charges above and beyond the rent that we've negotiated. So that another way to look at it is that 41 cents per foot is the all-in rent that they're paying. That includes any expense that they would have, utilities, common area maintenance, and taxes. Because it's a for-profit business, the county is going to tax this lease. They're going to pay taxes. We wanted to keep it very simple and straightforward, and we did not do a tax increment rebate or involve TIF. Because it's within the redevelopment area, we should benefit from that, so we should be able to take the taxes in and then pay them back out. So it should be close to a wash, but we wanted to keep it simple, so we didn't involve an incentive from the redevelopment agency. We're just offering that as a rent credit through the lease. But again, the value of that 2-year incentive, we're estimating at $151,000. So that is the incentive that we're offering to the company for the 2-year lease.
And they are, excuse me, Mr. Arndt, they are responsible for their own space development costs?
Yes. The business then, if they do take the lease and we're successful in moving them in, they're going to finish the space. It is in what we would call vanilla shell condition, meaning that the space is in a position ready to be improved, but the company is going to provide all the equipment, all the furnishings needed to run their business. We're simply turning over the space. With me today, who I was going to introduce later, is Mr. Jerry Solis, who is the Director of Business Development for Barrister, and he can explain how the business is going to operate, what expenses they're going to incur getting the operation started. We can either take that part of the testimony now or at the conclusion of my presentation, whatever you prefer.
Do we have a preference? I would say go ahead if it's not going to be tremendously lengthy, but thank you and welcome.
Sure, and thank you, Mayor and members of the council. We appreciate you guys welcoming us with open arms, and we look forward to being a great part of the city of Las Vegas going forward. So thank you. Barrister's about a 30-year-old IT services company, and when we talk about IT services, we're a large nationwide on-site provider. So we have technicians across the United States that go out and perform service events for us, and all of those service events are managed from our central facility today in Louisiana, where we have a large amount of staff that's responsible for managing the different aspects of those service events. The three specific aspects that we talk about when we talk about moving to the city of Las Vegas, and we talk about these incentive grants, are three of our main skilled roles, if you would, and what we've documented so far. The first job is our technical support jobs. So those jobs are very similar, typical help desk type employment, where we're looking for employees to come on site, be able to troubleshoot technical equipment over the phone with maybe either an end user or then one of the service representatives out in the field who's actually performing the repair. Second role would be what we call TAG, or our dispatch team. Dispatch team obviously is responsible for, as a service event comes in, assigning a qualified and available engineer in the local area to that service event. And then third of all, what we call a client relationship specialist. And really, that role is what we consider the value add of our service delivery when we talk to customers, and that's the ability to not only manage the individual pieces of the service event, but then also make sure that the customer understands at the same time exactly what's going on with the service event and serve as a single point of contact for the customer. So that's kind of a basic overview, and then the three types of positions that we'd be bringing to the city of Las Vegas.
Thank you, Mayor. What's your name again?
I'm sorry, Jerry Solis.
Jerry Silvis?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sure.
For giving us that presentation. You take phone calls when we don't understand how something works, and then you go out there and fix it.
Absolutely correct. You got it.
Let me just simplify that for you.
You got it. You got it.
And that's significant. And
Yes,
I've got, as Bill goes through his presentation, Mayor, I've got a couple of comments to make because this is great. Thank you for looking at Las Vegas. Now, I like to fish, so the fish is on the hook, and I don't want to lose this.
Okay.
So let's. I'd like to hear the rest of the presentation, then reserve my rest of my comments for later. Thank you, Mr. Solis.
Sure.
And also, is business licensing after the fact of the approval? Or are you already licensed here to do business?
I do not believe we're already licensed to do business here. I believe that would be.
We are going to be working very closely with our business licensing unit to make sure they have the proper license. That'll be a condition of taking occupancy to the space at the DSC. So that's in the works, but again, they're a new business, so they don't yet have a license, but that will be something that they will be doing.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation and for coming here. I know you'll love it. The weather's glorious.
It's absolutely
right
beautiful.
So do we want to?
So Mayor, if I might, I just have a couple more slides just explaining how the incentive works, the benefits to the city. And then we can turn it over if you have any additional questions for Mr. Solis and the company. Why we're doing this again, we're not writing a check. We're not making a cash outlay. We are charging less rent than what the appraiser is saying we could get for market. The value of that, again, was a little bit over $151,000. The company is bringing 19 to 20 new employees to Las Vegas. Mr. Solis is the first employee And the last employee from Louisiana, they're going to be hiring locally. So they're going to be following our employment plan that you've adopted as a council, as policy, with aggressively targeting women and minorities for new hires, as well as hiring locally, not just within the region, but within the city. That's part of our employment plan policy, and the company's agreeing to. Again, this is just the first phase. The intention of the company in a later phase, once they get up and running and prove that they can run the operation here and they have the talent that they need to do business here, again, the intention is to establish 200 employees and relocate the company, but again, hire local, so hire new employees here. There is a clawback, and this is a term you'll be hearing more and more of as we present more incentive projects to you for economic development, meaning an incentive is tied to some performance from the company. That's quite simple, the premise. So if there's not performance from the company, then we get to claw back the incentive being the foregone rent. So if the company relocates operations within Southern Nevada but outside of the city limits, then they have to write us a check for that foregone rent. And that is established in the agreement based on the $1.75 rent figure. So they're going to be writing us a check. So that's a clawback, just a little bit extra insurance to make sure that we establish them here. We are going to be working very closely with Mr. Solis to make sure that they get established as quickly as they can in a permanent home. So what is the benefit other than the jobs? Jobs bring not just benefit to the employees that they hire, but also there's a ripple effect in the economy known as economic impact. We've purchased a software package called Implan. It's a nationally recognized model. We showed you a model of the Zappos transaction when we brought that one before you. We've done that for Barrister as well. And for every 20 jobs provided by Barrister and hired by Barrister, there's an additional effect from what we call the supply chain effect, or indirect jobs being created as a result of businesses doing business with Barrister in the supply chain. In addition to that, there's induced spending. The employees that are here, they're actively and gainfully employed. They start spending their paycheck here. That creates new retail jobs in the community, and there's induced jobs through the spending impact as well. And that's very important to mention. In addition, if you roll up the total economic impact for just the 20 jobs from Phase 1, that's over $2.7 million. Phase 2, if it's tenfold, would be roughly $27 million. The next slide just shows a chart of that. Again, for every 20 employees, there's not just the direct benefit from the income as well as the output, they're producing in the community, but the total benefit from indirect and induced is over $2.7 million to the community. In summary and to close, this is a minor non-cash incentive for a transaction of this size with 20 jobs in Phase 1, but the expectation, no guarantees, but the expectation that we would get 200 jobs in Phase 2. The deal structure incubates an out-of-state company to grow locally here and hire here and relocate its corporate headquarters eventually to Las Vegas. It's performance-based, and there is a clawback in place. 2 items you're voting on today. There's actually 2 actions per this agenda item. You're approving the office lease agreement, which contains that rent incentive discounted from the market of $2 per square foot, inclusive of CAM, down to 41 cents per square foot. There is some additional terms in the lease to benefit the company and give them some flexibility. There's an option for additional space, what I've labeled option on that slide earlier, of additional 4,200, almost 4,300 square feet at the same terms for those 2 years. And then there's a 2-year option term, or in other words, a year 3 and a year 4, where instead of paying us just the 41 cents per square foot, they're paying $1.20 per square foot in rent plus the 41 cents in CAM and utility expense, which grosses up to $1.61 per square foot, now getting very close to what is a full market rent of $2 per square foot. So at that point, we'd be getting effectively, if you will, 80% of full market rent from the company. But again, the intention is to get them in permanent space. In addition to the lease, you're approving, for your approval is a resolution to approve an economic development exemption below fair market value because of the benefits that the community provides. I would like Mr. Solis just briefly to touch on jobs. Every job is important, but quality jobs are even more important. So I wanted Mr. Solis just to take a moment explaining how they're going to do the recruitment to hire locally in the community and what kind of compensation package the various types of employees that they hire would expect to earn.
Sure.
Mr. Solis?
Sure, and thank you, Bill. So when we talk about the jobs that we'll be bringing to the city of Las Vegas, as we talked about earlier, it's kind of three different roles: our technical support, our client relationship specialist, and our dispatcher, our tag team. But all three of those jobs pay are hourly and salary type positions based on experience, and start typically in the $10 to $11 an hour range and can grow up to $13 to $14 an hour. We've gone ahead and begun, as part of this process and working with the Department of Economic Development, and started placing ads here in the city of Las Vegas to start getting an understanding of the type of employees and the type of job applicants we've gotten. And as I was explaining to Bill earlier, we've been pleasantly surprised with the type of applicants we've received, the quantity of applicants, and then also the quality of those applicants. 10 to 15 years experience in different industries that mirror ours, the ability to hold positions for long periods of time, which is a big strong point for us, and being available as needed. As part of that that follow-up, we've worked with some of those applicants, communicating with them via phone and email to understand what their job background is, what their perspective is on the city of Las Vegas and our company coming here to move forward. And they've all been very excited about our relocation and about the opportunity to work with us. It's very interesting, even though we don't have a place of business here, there are obviously customers that we service here in the city of Las Vegas, and so a lot of these applicants were actual former technicians of ours who are doing technical work on site, and so they're very excited to join the corporate team and come and provide service. In looking at the employment plans requirements that were passed a couple of months ago, we're very excited to participate in different job fairs and working with the different community organizations. One of the things that's very near and dear to our heart at Barrister, and Mayor Goodman, I think I came on the right day, is we're a nationally certified woman-owned business, and that's something we take very seriously. And as part of that employment plan, I believe those are the types of organizations and minority-focused organizations that we'd like to work with and make sure that we make the positions available. In the IT space, the IT space has historically been a space where women are definitely underrepresented in the technical workforce. And any way we can work with different job fairs, different local community colleges or universities, as well as working with the different minority organizations, would be real happy to work with those guys to get some gainful employees out of it. It's very interesting, just kind of as a side note, very interesting to see the facilities and the enablement that you guys as a council and as a city have put forward to attract new business. It's a very attractive engagement for a new business to come into the area and to try to relocate its headquarters, which obviously is quite an effort, and we're pretty excited to see some of the things that have been put forward so forth.
Is there a training element in your Louisiana headquarters at this time?
Yeah, so everything that we do today is pretty custom. So any employee, as they're brought in and are typically hired on rotating weeks, we have a 3-week training process. And so that first week is just straight up customer service type training, where we're walking those employees through how to handle a difficult customer, how to handle a tense situation, how to tell a customer no, those types of items. The second week is training on our systems and our processes. So one of our significant advantages in the marketplace is our ability to drive service like a process and drive it from beginning to end. It's critical that all of our employees understand those processes, and so we spend that entire second week with employees learning those processes and then also learning our systems and how they interact with those processes. Then the third week is job-specific training. So if you're a client relationship specialist or CRS, you'd go specifically to that group and receive training specifically on how that job functions function is done and what the specific regularities are. Right behind that, there's a 2-week coaching period, so every new employee gets assigned what we call a buddy, and they sit with that buddy. That buddy is on the floor with them as they're performing work, and they're there for them to ask questions. Any questions after that, during that 2-week period, they go to that person, and then they're released to the floor live.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Comments? Any comments?
I thank you, Your Honor. I have questions. Thank you. Is it Silvis, S-I-L-V-I-S?
It's Solis, S-O-L-I-S.
Oh, thank you, Solis.
Yes, sir.
Solis, okay. Mr. Solis, in your investigations of places to do business and perhaps relocate or to perhaps think about relocating, did you talk to any other entities in Nevada? And by entities, I also mean perhaps realtors, owners of real property, landlords, others who have available. There are millions of square feet of office space available here in Las Vegas, Southern Nevada in general. So who else did you talk to as you were thinking of coming here?
Yeah, as we were thinking of coming here, the team from Zappos has been pretty influential in our choosing of the city of Las Vegas. As a company, we developed a relationship with them several years ago. We've been to the city of Las Vegas and the Las Vegas Valley several times for conferences and industry events, and so developed a relationship with that team and understood a lot of the advantages of the Las Vegas Valley and the city of Las Vegas from that group, and then started working with Scott and the economic development team. As Bill had mentioned earlier, we had a relationship with Scott. He was actually influential in bringing us to Louisiana back in the early 2000s, and so started working with Scott, and that's how we've gotten here today.
Mr. Solis, did you contact any realtors or discuss the rental situation here in Las Vegas, leasing and so on, with any other people besides the city?
Specifically, I don't think we have, sir.
So you didn't investigate the cost of doing business here?
I do believe we've investigated the cost of doing business. I think most of our conversations at this point have been working with economic development and understanding from their perspective what it looks like. If for whatever reason, we had to look further and investigate other items, we could do that too. To us, the cost of doing business in the city of Las Vegas at this point, and the matter in front of you today, is working through this incentive plan.
Do you intend to operate or move your corporate registry, your residency to Nevada? I'm not talking about your business operations yet. I realize that would be premature, but rather, maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse. Are you a corporate entity based in Louisiana for legal purposes?
Currently, we're incorporated in the state of Delaware for legal purposes. I think, at some point, as we go through this transition, and if everything works out the way I think we all expect it to, I think that would be a matter for discussion.
Mr. Solis, as I first heard about this last week or the week before, I asked our staff if this was unique, and they said it was, in the sense that this is city-owned property that they are suggesting that we lease to a for-profit organization. I don't know of another instance. I don't think there is. At least my question to them was that this would be unique. There is no precedent. That we do have other non-city organizations in our owned and operated space, but in some cases, well, they're all nonprofits in some way or another. Why should we allow you to take advantage of this space in a city-owned building? What would be the advantage to you?
Yeah, so the advantage to barristers is access to an available workforce that we don't have currently at our current location in Louisiana. Also, various ancillary aspects in terms of disaster recovery. We've been looking for a disaster recovery facility for a long time to serve as a backup facility for our Hammond office. In terms of the city of Las Vegas, I think Bill did a pretty good job in talking about the economic impact and the jobs that we'll be creating here inside the city of Las Vegas. As we look at this package, I think the big thing, the big item and the big advantage for the city of Las Vegas, and what we're coming into it as our primary responsibility as a good corporate citizen, is to bring new jobs to the city of Las Vegas. And while I understand maybe it hasn't been done before, there are always times for new endeavors and new engagements, and I think Barrister Global Services Network represents a responsible adoption for the city of Las Vegas.
Your Honor, if I could just ask one further question. This,
Sure.
I guess, at the heart of the matter here is that there are precedent-setting qualities to this transaction if it is approved, and that is, one, we just don't have people in business in city-owned property. And I like the fact that our development people have been creative enough to work with you on this.
Sure.
I would have thought, though, that you might have worked with the Nevada Development Authority, the typical agency or the portal agency, whereby people, through protected in secrecy, are able to negotiate. You know, when they want to come, we have a lot of call centers here. But
Yeah,
your business is
you
not
do.
unique to Southern Nevada.
No, it's not.
And
We
the
know
pay
that.
is not especially large. It's typical.
It's typical.
$10 to $14 an hour.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I think, Your Honor, I probably might have some discussion if this goes to a motion. I'll reserve.
I do.
Councilman Ross?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Solis, it's nice to see you're already working on your Nevada accent, number one. Number two, it's nice to call a call center and speak to someone in America. Isn't that a unique concept?
That's a very unique experience in our business.
And
I
more
promise you.
importantly, perhaps in Nevada or Las
Yes, sir.
Vegas, I think is what's significant. And Bill, I appreciate you going through the nuts and bolts of the whole deal and how it's all going to work out. You talked about the appraisal, the incentives, and as I'm listening to your presentation, as I was briefed the other day on this, I'm thinking to myself, you know, who cares? Because that's not the important thing here. The value in this deal is the job creation. The value in doing this is using a piece of property we're not going to use right now and incentivizing it to the point where we're creating our own incubator. Mayor, you and I have talked about this for the past several months now. Incubators, streamlining the business licensing process, just as we had in a previous item today. This is bigger than that. We're creating some momentum here, and I'm going to use your company, Mr. Solis, for a minute,
Please do.
because I think there'll be somebody standing, and I told you this the other day, Bill, someone's going to be standing behind you. As soon as you guys, realize that this is a great place to be, great place to move your corporate headquarters, plant yourself right here, hire from within using our city's hiring plan that Councilman Barlow worked on so much. I mean, this is significant.
Yep.
So I think, as we've talked about this, Mayor, for several months, we are creating jobs. We are really diversifying our economy, and Councilman Coffin's correct. There are more call centers here.
Sure.
But you know what? So what if Las Vegas becomes the call center capital of the world for everybody?
Yeah.
You know what? We're creating jobs, and at a moment right now where our unemployment rate is off the charts, it's important to recognize that. Can you go back a couple of slides for me, Bill?
Sure.
So I'll keep going. Stop right there. Total economic impact for Phase 1 of Barrister's corporate location, almost $3 million pushed back in this economy, in our local economy, and that's what's significant. Total economic impact for Phase 2, roughly $27 million poured back into this economy. And that's what we need right now. We need to create these incentives, regardless of what they are. And I know we have the legal things we need to go through for Nevada revised statute, but I want to use you and your company as an example. This is much bigger, Mr. Arndt. You know that. We are on the cusp right now of moving this thing forward, streamlining the business process, really going out there to diversify our economy, really going out there to create jobs. And again, Mayor and council members, I'll be selfish again. I want it right here in the city of Las Vegas. I want to be the leader, or I want this city to be the leader when it comes to things like this. Great ideas, thinking outside the box and moving forward. So again, welcome to Las Vegas.
Thank you, Councilman Ross.
Any other comments, questions?
Mayor, with your indulgence, did want to make one correction for the record. As part of your backup was a form called Public Purpose Impact Analysis, and there was an error where we actually overstated the value of the incentive on the record, so I wanted to correct that. The value of the incentive is, as I showed today in the PowerPoint, of the $151,300 $397, and so I wanted to just submit that to the clerk for the record for that correction.
Thank you. Yes,
Mayor
Councilwoman.
Goodman. I agree with much of what Councilman Coffin said, and I think there's a lot that we have to watch very, very carefully. I do know, however, we're so desperate for jobs, and that with the incentives we're giving are to help in that. And the things you've told us in briefings will make sure that you're watching this very carefully. Councilman Barlow feels it'll be a great addition, so I will probably go along with this, but I do want to say that I can understand and support some of the concerns that Councilman Coffin made.
Thank you. Couple of questions. Is there any lock in this lease agreement that if after the 2 years and you've relocated everybody here, that it would be to your advantage to move out into your own facilities? Because there's some wonderful buying opportunities right now, which makes me wonder why at this time you have not pursued those rather than the renting, but why not purchasing?
Sure, most definitely. And I kind of give you a couple of pieces of information there. First of all, as a company, as a corporate policy, Barrister does believe in purchasing and not renting. That's always been our corporate motto when it comes to real estate. We've purchased the 80,000 square foot facility that we have in Hammond, Louisiana. Our biggest challenge is we are unique in the sense that we like our structure. Our structure of our facility is part of our process and is part of our service enablement. So whenever we do those types of real estate transactions and do pick a facility, we do want to make sure it's one that's custom made, if I would, for our needs. Second of all, and I think this is a try before you buy type of agreement. That's definitely our approach is to come to the city of Las Vegas and make sure that the good results that we've seen so far continue. And if so, I definitely think that's exactly what you'd see us doing, working with the city of the Department of Economic Development, understanding what measures are there for us, and then taking advantage of those and
Thank
moving
you.
forward.
And I'm assuming, too, that the city has no need for use in the near future of this floor in this area.
That's correct, and that's why I mentioned the process that we've had at the city, that before we decided to take this kind of strategy, we gathered as a city team, a full city team, interdepartmental approach. We had all the departments that touch real estate for the city, meeting regularly, looking at opportunities, first and foremost meeting our own space needs. But as we've evolved as a city, our space needs have evolved, and so there's some instances, not a lot, but some where we do have some surplus property.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? Is there a motion, Councilman Barlow?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Prior to the motion, I do have just a couple of points of clarification, Mr. Arndt.
Sure.
Going back to the slide that you have up currently, we're speaking about the fair market value of this space is $1.61 a square foot over the course of 2 years. Is that accurate?
Almost. The market value, based on the appraisal that we had, the high appraisal was $1.75 base rent, 25-cent CAM charge, or $2 total. We wanted to make the second 2 years, year 3 and year 4, start to look like a market rate lease, not to penalize the company, but as a little extra incentive to make sure that they look in the private marketplace to find a permanent home. Also, both spaces combined don't nearly meet their needs. It's just a small fraction of their needs. So as they succeed, they're going to they're going to effectively force themselves out. But to answer the question succinctly, that $1.61 is about 80% of market.
80% of market. So in essence, we're moving, the request today is for the 41 cent per square foot.
Correct. For the 2 year period.
For the 2 year
They do have the lease does have a built-in option at that rate, the $1.61. So it's a 2 year lease with a 2 year option.
Okay. So with that being said, I want to move into the backup, which you've provided, and under section 20 of the resolution, it has here that whereas the proposed fair market rent of the premises is for $167,160, has been reduced to $1 per year for 2 years as an economic development incentive for the new division of the tenant's operation currently located in Hammond, Louisiana. So help me understand why that is within the resolution of today's hearing.
Sure. Thank you, Councilman. And I'm going to refer to this chart, but reference the number that's in the resolution and reconcile the two. When we negotiated the incentive, the big thing for us was a non-cash incentive means no cash out of the city's pocket. We wanted to make sure that we were covering our costs to the best extent that we could, our costs of owning the space. That cost, the cost associated with that is we have to pay utility costs, even if we're not using the space. Today, the space sits vacant, but the city is carrying the cost. We're paying utility costs. We're paying to maintain the space through our own city custodial team. So we try to get coverage on that cost. That cost is where we ended up with the 41 cents per foot. The way the resolution was written and the way the lease is written is it breaks out rent and common area maintenance, or CAM costs, and it breaks out rent of $1 per year and CAM of 41 cents per foot per month. So that $2 per foot shows that $1.75 per foot, the rent, embedded in that $2 figure is the $1.75 figure for rent, and that $1.75 figure, if you gross that up without the CAM, that would equal the $167,000. So that's the rent portion, and then the CAM portion, market is 25 cents, and we're getting 41 cents. So we're getting coverage on the CAM, we've discounted the rent, and again, we're trying to make sure, to the extent that we can, that we're covering our costs of carrying the utilities and carrying the space.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. And in addition, while seeking, Barrister is seeking the city's incentives, what are, and you've used the term clawback as far as they expand, and which we encourage them to do that, what do we have in place from a clawback standpoint should they choose to move into another jurisdiction outside of the city limits? How is it that we protect the cities and the taxpayers' dollars from the reduction in rents, and as well as CAM, for them to be inside of this facility today?
Sure. So what we structured is there's really a key decision in this deal is at the end of year 2, what happens? What will the company do? The company needs to do what's in the best interest of the company. We're confident they're going to locate here.
Right.
If they're unsuccessful, they won't locate here. If they're successful, we wanted to make sure that they locate within the city limits, because it's the city incentive. It should be within the city limits. So that clawback ensures that they won't take advantage of a down real estate market, as was kind of alluded to this morning, and shop for space and locate outside the city but within Southern Nevada. If that happens, then the company has agreed to pay us a clawback of that forsaken rent. The $1.75 without the CAM over 2 years equates to that $167,160. So that's the penalty, or the clawback, if you will, if the company, after year 2, locates outside the city but within Southern Nevada. They'd be owing us the back rent. We've essentially been made whole. We've still located the company in Southern Nevada. So that's a little bit extra incentive for the company to make sure they work with us in good faith to locate here within the city limits.
Okay, great. And Mr. Salas, thank you so very much for the conference call.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for having
as well as Mr. Bowers.
No problem.
I really appreciated the information that Mr. Bowers was able to forward over to me, which provided some additional background on the company. I've had also an opportunity to visit Hammond. Don't blink, because you will miss it, in Louisiana.
You got that right.
Very beautiful place, but I'm looking forward to you all being successful here as you prepare to transition from Louisiana to Las Vegas. And also, being that you are setting up within the redevelopment area of the city of Las Vegas, this council has worked very diligently to make sure that we bring in quality businesses that, as Councilman Ross alluded to earlier, that provide jobs and more jobs, being that Nevada is unfortunately running at a very high unemployment rate. And so whenever we have an opportunity to bring in businesses to really expand our opportunity to get our constituencies back to work, we look forward to working with companies such as Barrister. So with that being said, I know we had a conversation in regards to a job fair.
Yes, sir.
And I'm looking forward to you all holding up your end of the bargain.
Yes, sir.
To assist the city of Las Vegas in reducing the number of those who are unemployed. And we have a lot of qualified individuals in this community that could surely take advantage of the job opportunities that you all are bringing into the city of Las Vegas and Nevada as a state. So with that, Mayor and Council, if there's no other deliberation at this time, and I see a finger from Councilman Wolfson, I will hold off on my motion until that point.
And thank you, Councilman Barlow. With your permission, Mayor Goodman, just for clarification, this company is paying $39,163 over the 2-year lease. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Because the way that it reads in the resolution, as Councilman Barlow points out, it's not clear.
And that was the purpose of this slide. Is
Okay.
It is a little bit misleading that the company's not paying anything. That's incorrect. They're not only are they fronting their costs to get up and running, equipment, furnishings, they are paying us coverage to cover that.
And it's the resolution that's misleading. Your slide is not misleading.
It's technically accurate, but it's not the full picture. Correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, in going back to Councilman Wolfson's point, if we can go back to that slide, was it 34,000? Is that the 39,000? So roughly 40,000 is what, in fact, the city of Las Vegas will receive annually.
That's over the 2-year period.
Two-year
So that's
period. 2-year period.
For a 2-year period.
Okay, so we're looking at roughly 20,000 annually for this space of approximately 4,000 square feet.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So, Mayor, I'm ready for a motion if you are.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this item, subject to all conditions, and that would be my motion at this time. And I would like to say good luck to you and Barrister, and thank Mr. Barrows once again for an opportunity to speak with him, and I look forward to meeting him when he comes to town.
Thank you, Councilman Barlow.
Thank you.
And Miss, if I could just say something before the vote, I just wanted to add that I know this sounds like and I'm sure I'll read it in the paper someplace, we're giving away the store or something, but I have friends who are in the business now of renting commercial property, and they are giving free rent for several months, sometimes years, and things like that. The idea is we are not having people rushing us to rent that. It's sitting there, and it's costing us money while it sits there. And that's one reason why I feel I need to vote in favor of this. This is a hope for a beginning here.
And thank you, Councilman Tarkanian. Councilman Coffin has another comment, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. In discussion on the motion, I think that's where we're at.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for coming to Las Vegas to visit with us, Mr. Solis.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Should this pass, I trust that all of the technicalities will be straightened out between the slideshow and the document that should be in front of us. I am worried about this, and I think after getting some answers from you, I have a little more concern than I did before, in the sense that you didn't shop for cheap rent here. In essence, this town is loaded with it. We've got millions of square feet available, and as Councilwoman Tarkanian has said, some people are giving free rent. This is nearly free rent, I suppose. If it's not $1, it's $41 a year. It's 41 cents per foot per month. So that's still pretty low. I know we have millions of square foot available. I know we have people out there who want desperately to rent space to folks like you. And I worry that the city council becomes a competitor with the landlords of Las Vegas if they, in fact, we're giving something a lot cheaper than what they can afford to give it. And I realize we don't have unlimited space, but one has to take into account there are a lot of local businesses or a lot of prospective businesses out of state that might like to come here had they known about this sort of arrangement. And I don't think it was broadcast to the world. Last, I don't have in front of me a list of agencies I'm not acquainted yet with the city in the sense of the technicalities. For instance, I'm not sure how many people we had outside our buildings renting space, but I think we have some out there. Some of them which might be appropriate to be housed in this building, in its true city-owned space. So not having that list in front of me, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that we probably ought to be moving some of those people into that nice building, because our city hall is not large enough to house them, the new city hall. So therefore, there must be places where they can go, like the atrium or what we call it now, the Development Services Center. So I will be opposing this motion, but I certainly not in ill will, but rather thinking that maybe we ought to be careful. We have a responsibility to try to get jobs here in the community, but at the same time, we can't be so generous as to give away the store, if you know what I mean. Sure. I don't want that to be a headline of some kind. I don't want to think that anybody thinks that the council is giving away the store. I think more along the lines of we're just a little too cheap for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Barlow.
The motion still stands, Mayor. Thank you.
Vote, please. Post.
We didn't get a chance to vote down here.
Nope, it's. Okay. Post, please. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're going to be an example, so make sure it's great.
We look forward to
Thank
making
you.
a great example.
We look
Thank
forward
you,
to
guys.
having your whole company here. Thank you, Mr. Arndt.
Thank you.
And now we are moving on to the recommending committee report discussion. I am so sorry. I flipped that one over. You're absolutely correct. Stand to... Okay. Agenda item number 61, Board and Commissions. Abeyance item for possible action, Park and Recreation Advisory Commission, Tom McGrath, term expiration. Resigned. Any comments or information here?
It's my understanding Councilwoman Tarkanian had a recommendation.
I do.
Thank you.
I'm wondering, is Jerry Fowler here today? He was going to try and be here. He isn't here, but I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to talk a little bit about this gentleman before I move for appointment. About 5 years ago, he lived within a few blocks of Dexter Park. He met with a staff member of Ward 1, and he wanted to discuss starting a neighborhood association. And he wanted it in this area with the intent to make the neighborhood safer walking to and from Dexter Park and to better utilize the park and its common areas for the citizens who lived around it. He walked the neighborhood time and time again to get residents out to meetings and to have others involved in the decision-making. The group finally got together. They decided to request a dog park be placed in an area that was only used at Dexter by the homeless for their camps. And he didn't give up. He kept going on. He sets the example of one person can make a difference, because right now, Dexter Park, as you know, the mayor and I and several others were out there last year opening that dog park with the enthusiasm of hundreds of people who were excited about having it there. And so Jerry and his group set an example, I think, of how you can start with nothing, work in bringing your community together, share ideas, reach consensus, and then push and push until you can get what you need and what you want. In addition to the dog parks, we have a large one and a small one. There also are additional playground amenities there, additional park tables, additional benches, places for the parents to watch the baseball and that's held on that field. And what I'm trying to say is this individual worked to get a neighborhood association together, worked hard to get an improvement in the parks there, and he's worked to maximize our parks. And so it's with great pleasure that I introduce a businessman who understands every dollar count, as well as making our city resources be maximized, and I appoint Mr. Jerry Fowler to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. And that's my motion, to appoint him to the commission. I took a little more time because I say over and over again, this makes a difference. This makes a difference if we all work together, and so I have to keep punching that line in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Tarkanian. There is a motion. vote on the motion, please, to approve Jerry Fowler. Is it F-O-W?
F-A-R-L-E-R.
F-A-R-L-E-R. Thank you. Post. Thank you. Motion and appointment carries. Thank you.
And, Mayor Goodman, if I might please, on the next item, could I request that that be divided into separate parts?
Yes, absolutely. We are moving on now to the discussion possible action of appointments on council members to various City of Las Vegas and other jurisdictional boards, commissions, and authorities. And I have a question on our slate here of these appointments. Under the Southern Nevada Water Authority, it was my understanding there were always 2 individuals serving on that. And I see on this now it says 1 member and 1 alternate.
That's correct.
That is what stands.
That's the structure of the board that we were given. 1 primary member and 1 alternate.
Okay, thank you very much. So that answers your question there.
If you remember when we spoke,
Right.
that was what I told you. I thought it was 1, not 2.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and it is my motion. I am making a motion to the following city council appointments, which I will now read, and then we can poll, if you will hold those appointments which you would like polled, we will then pull them and vote on the remainder, please.
I was going to say, if you want to read them all, is that what you're going to do, read them all? Because it's only 3, it would only have to be divided into the 3 sections of Mayor Pro Tem, the Las Vegas Convention Authority, and then all the rest. If that's, but if you want to read them all, that's okay.
No, I have
didn't
no
want to
need
cause
to
you
read.
extra
Okay,
problems.
no. And I know we're getting towards lunch, so absolutely. If all the council persons, is that, Mr. Jerbick, is that all right not to read them?
That's fine. What I would recommend is take everything except those 2. If it's Mayor Pro
3.
Tem and LVCVA, leave those out of your motion. Make only a motion for the appointment for the remaining boards. Take a vote on that, and then go back to Mayor Pro Tem and go back to LVCVA.
Okay, and I thought Councilman Tarkanian, you said 3, or just the 2?
No, the 3rd one is what he's saying is the whole thing together.
Okay.
So it's really only 2 pulled out and the other
Okay.
rest whole thing together.
Mayor Goodman. I'm
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jerbick, how do we know, though, if she doesn't read, if the mayor doesn't read all of the others, what we're voting on? Is this an exhibit, or is this?
No. What I would recommend is that the mayor read everything except those 2.
That's okay.
Make the nomination for all the boards that are not, going to be held separately, and then go back to the other 2.
Suggest you read them.
And beyond that, our city clerk, since you had corrected these, and I am concerned that perhaps mine might not be the last updated, would it be improper for our city clerk to read them? So we all make sure that we have the identical
That's fine. If the
report.
city
I
clerk
mean,
would-
I would feel more comfortable if you just read straight on down, but omit Mayor Pro Tem and omit the Las Vegas Visitor and Convention Authority from the list, please. Or you can read them and everybody will know what the names are. That's even better. Then we'll pull those 2. Thank you. Please continue. You're not on? Can't hear you.
Come up there. The Chief Local Elected Officials Consortium is Councilman Bob Coffin. Clean Water Coalition is Councilman Steve Ross. Councilman Steve Anthony as alternate.
It's not
Commission-
Steve Anthony.
Excuse me? Oh. I don't have my glasses on. Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial is Mayor Carolyn Goodman, Councilman Ricky Barlow, and Councilman Bob Coffin. The Debt Management Commission is Councilman Bob Coffin. The Emergency Operations Management Committee is Mayor Carolyn Goodman, Councilman Ricky Barlow. Las Vegas Springs Preserve Board of Trustees is Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian. The Local Law Enforcement Advisory Committee is Councilman Steve Wolfson. The Metropolitan Police Committee on Fiscal Affairs is Councilman Ricky Barlow and Councilman Steve Wolfson. The Nellis Civilian Military Council Executive Board is Mayor Carolyn Goodman, Councilman Ricky Barlow as alternate. The Nevada Development Authority is Mayor Carolyn Goodman. Nevada League of Cities is Councilman Ricky Barlow. The Regional Flood Control District is Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian and Councilman Steve Ross. The Regional Transportation Commission is Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian and Councilman Steve Ross. The Southern Nevada Health District is Councilman Stavros Anthony, Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian, and Councilman Steve Ross as alternate. The Southern Nevada Regional Planning Coalition is Councilman Bob Coffin, Councilman Steve Wolfson, and the alternate is Councilman Stavros Anthony. The Southern Nevada Water Authority is Councilman Bob Coffin and Councilman Stavros Anthony as alternate. And the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Repository Commission is Councilman Steve Wolfson and Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian.
Thank you very much. Any questions about those? Any Any questions? Thank you very much, City Clerk. Any questions, any comments on those?
Mayor?
Yes.
Just clarification. That is your motion for those names for those boards and commissions?
Correct.
Thank you.
And then we will address the others. And so I do want to comment to the public. As I proceeded through the process, my ultimate goal was, of course, to have the City Council, as best we could, all feel comfortable in the appointments, knowing that we had changes with my husband going off, of course, and with Councilman Reese, and trying to give new members, a new member or two new members, positions and an opportunity to learn and grow. But I also did follow up with some of the major forces to make sure that, in fact, the mayor was the one that should be sitting on those particular assigned committees, which is, in fact, what did happen. So I'm excited about these, and I think everybody's getting a chance. The other two areas we will go to after this, but I would entertain a motion for those that have been read by the city clerk to please vote on this slate on these appointments, please. Thank you. Councilwoman Tarkanian has moved. Please vote. Post, please. Thank you very much. Now we move into, and since we're in a process here, if you would, City Clerk, then go into, we'll take these one at a time. In the order of the alphabetical on the sheet, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, and again, this was my appointment.
Is Mayor Carolyn Goodman and Councilman Steve Ross.
And so we're open for discussion here, please.
I think people will just vote accordingly for various reasons.
Thank you. Please cast vote on the motion. Post, please. The motion carries 4-3. Thank you. And now on the next pulled item, please, City Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem is Councilman Stavros Anthony.
Vote on the motion, please. Vote on the motion, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. And now, I think what we will do, and I'm not sure the time frame, knowing that we reconvene at 1, is it wise at this point to break for the lunch break or continue on? Continue with the morning? Okay. Okay, item 63. That has been stricken. Item 64 is in abeyance. And therefore, and 65 is the new bill. Okay, bill number 2011-27. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have the bill read?
Yes, but for a point of clarification, I believe that we should hear item 64 and item 65 should be obeyed according
Correct.
to Councilman Coffin, Mayor.
That's correct.
Thank you. Both are obeyed. Thank
Both-
you.
Both are, no, just 65.
64 is still alive. Yeah.
So the only one that
Oh, you're
needs to be
absolutely
read is
correct,
item number
Ms. Zerkina.
64.
Thank you, Councilman.
Okay.
I do see that. And item 64, bill number 2011-26. Councilman Barlow, do you wish to have the bill read?
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
Bill number 2001-26, an ordinance to repeal in its entirety Chapter 6.54 of the Municipal Code relating to the regulation of membership clubs and to provide for other related matters.
Move for approval.
Vote on the motion. Post. Motion carries. And you said 65 's in advance. So now on to new bills. Okay. Item 66 through 68, bills 2011 to 2028 through 2011-30 will be heard at the recommending committee meeting on Tuesday, July 19th, 2011. I would like to have these bills read, please.
And Mayor, if I may, if Gerard Dondero may read these, he's our newest UNLV extern. He's a second-year law student at the Boyd School of Law.
Wonderful.
Bill number 2011-28, an ordinance to update the city's regulations pertaining to mobile food vendors to conform to other applicable regulations regarding the operational limitations for such vendors and to provide for other related matters. Bill number 2011-29, an ordinance to update Chapter 6.06 of the Municipal Code relating to privileges, licenses, and to provide for other related matters. And Bill number 2011-30, an ordinance to readopt the municipal code provision making state law misdemeanors city misdemeanors if committed within the city.
Thank you. Whoops. Thank you. We will now go into closed door session. Okay, we need to, and that was, we did in the recommending Councilman Barlow and Councilman Coffin, as I recall. If we could do that, please. Thank you. So we will go into closed door session at this point. Thank you. So do we adjourn? We will adjourn for one, and we will return at 1:15. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to reconvene for the afternoon session. We're late, and it's 1:17. Moving into the afternoon session, for possible action, any items from the afternoon session that the council staff and/or the applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Councilman Anthony.
Thank you, Mayor. The following items have been requested to be held in abeyance, withdrawn, or stricken. Item number 72, which is a public hearing regarding vacant lot located behind Glen Landing Avenue, property owner RES NVSD LLC. They've asked to obey this to 8/3 of 11 requested by the applicant. Items 81 and 82, variance 4579 and SUP 4577, applicant owner Conan and Jessica Turner of 6308 Jennifer Court. The applicant has requested this be withdrawn without prejudice. Item number 83, variance 41321, applicant owner Johnny Pappas, 1125 Cashman Drive, requested by the applicant to hold this in abeyance till 7/20 of 11. And item 85, ROC 41851, applicant Weingarten Realty Investors, owner Decatur 215 LLC, 6101-6371 North Decatur Boulevard, requested by the applicant to hold this in abeyance till 8/3 of 11.
Thank you. Thank you. Vote on the motion, please.
Were there any others?
Are there any others?
Okay, my motion will be to hold all those in abeyance, withdrawn, or stricken.
Vote on the motion, please. Mine just says withdraw vote.
Yeah, that just stays there.
Okay. Yes.
He's not signed in yet.
I'm not here.
Are you voting in the affirmative?
My right hand.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you very. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on to agenda item number 71. Is that correct? Yes. Public hearing for possible action to consider the report of expenses to recover costs for abatement of nuisance located at 104 Joyce Way in the amount of $3,013 and assess a maximum of $39,550 in daily civil penalties. Property owner Jose and Esmeralda Zamara, Ward 1, Ms. Councilwoman Tarkanian.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Devin Smith, Neighborhood Response Manager. Before we get started on here, Mr. Steele from the City's Attorney's Office would like to brief you on something that took place in the last assembly that is going to start impacting a little bit of how we read these in our meeting minutes and how we do the recordings on the property. So.
Okay, please.
Good afternoon, Council. Dan Steele from the City Attorney's Office. This past legislative session, the legislature passed AB 360, which had an impact on the way in which we are going to be able to collect the liens for nuisance properties from now on. The brief version, and we'll give you a more detailed version in your briefings in preparation for the next meeting, but the bottom line is that actual costs can be collected through a lien immediately. However, we also impose civil penalties quite frequently, and the problem is that those are limited to they have to be more than $5,000 to turn into a lien, and we cannot lien the property until 1 year has passed from the notice and order being recorded. So it limits our ability. We're going to have to, what Mr. Smith will be doing is calculating or figuring out when that second lien will need to go or be recorded against the property, but it's going to substantially delay our ability to collect the penalty portion of the fees that you impose.
Is there any way the council will be apprised that there are liens hanging there before they get to the 5,000 limit or a year?
Certainly, in your briefings before each council meeting, you'll definitely know that. And I'm sure that Mr. Smith and his boss will make sure that that happens.
Thank you.
Again, Mayor and Council, Devin Smith, Neighborhood Response Manager. The purpose and background is that the condition of this property was a public hazard and an attractive nuisance. The Department of Building and Safety declared the property in violation and started legal notification. When no corrective action was taken or an appeal filed, the Department of Building and Safety hired Lunas Construction to remove all trash, debris, high and dead vegetation, and demolish the storage shed. To date, there have been 7 inspections conducted at this location. The estimated value of the property based on Zillow.com is $105,000. The recommendation is that the City Council approve the report of expenses to include an $880 invoice for Lunas Construction, in addition to other fees assessed, for a total of $3,013, and consider assessing a maximum of $39,550. And just for the record, Your Honor, the breakdown would be $2,063 would be actual hard costs that will be recorded immediately, the $950 and the $39,550 for a total of $40,500 in possible civil penalties.
Question. If there were to be a fire in that residence which spilled over into the neighborhood, who's insured to cover that?
I would assume, Your Honor, that the bank that is in the process of foreclosing on that property would be the responsible party. Whether or not they would have insurance on the property or would it just come out of their collective bank, I don't know that information.
So there's no protection for the city with all these liens at that point when everything is burnt to a crisp.
What happens is these liens do go on as a tax assessment lien,
Okay.
and they would be put on the tax roll, and at some time that when the tax roll becomes due on that property, that's how we would get our money back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor Goodman, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, please.
May I ask a question with your permission, Councilwoman? Is this an example of our new process that has been sped up?
We're definitely doing much better getting
Well, I
them.
mean, I noticed the date the case was opened was February of 2011, and the resolution was May of 11. That's 3 months.
Yeah, we're
when
getting-
it's been 8, 10, 12 months. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
You and Chris Knight deserve all the credit.
Thank you.
Great job.
This is a public hearing. I now declare it open. Is the property owner present? Mr. Smith? Okay. The property owner?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Tarkanian?
Excuse me.
You have public
Excuse me,
comment
Mayor?
before that, or?
No, excuse me. Apparently, anybody can speak to that issue.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Excuse
Todd
me.
Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. Dr. Sill, I'm real disappointed in what you just told us. Real disappointed. I mean, this so-called republic we've got is turning into a plutocracy overnight. In almost every one of these mortgage contracts, in the fine print somewhere, it says that the bank reserves the right to go on any property that's fallen short of their expectations and bring it up to stead. We have banks coming in here all the time saying, "Oh, we couldn't do anything about it." That is just not true. That's not true. Banks are pleading poverty and everything else. And it just makes me so mad. Highly upset. Is there any way that we can keep the tree alive out in front?
I have no way to keep the tree alive. It would be up to the neighbors.
I would hope that when they go out and clean up these properties, that they would talk to the neighbor and say, "Look, folks, if you just throw a water hose over there, we would really appreciate it." Instead, what they do, they put these no trespassing signs on the window. Now, former Councilman Reese says if it was his neighbor, he said he would ignore it. And I think that's the best thing to do. But I do not think that I'm just so mad. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I understand, and it's a difficult situation. I think a lot of people in our city are having similar feelings about issues with these foreclosed homes and abandoned homes, and I'm sorry. But certainly we will ask and see if there's any way we can save a tree or a neighbor could put a hose under the fence.
And Your Honor, if I may, just for the record, when we have those properties posted no trespassing, if we saw a neighbor on the property watering, cleaning up the yard, we definitely would not trespass them off that property. Those signs are put up to keep the riffraff off the property and give them the ability for Metro to remove them from the site. But if somebody was trying to do good for the property, we definitely wouldn't have them trespass.
And you heard that from Mr. Smith, so that stands. We will come water the tree. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well,
please restate your name for us.
My name is Anthony Harden. I live 123 Sir David. The liens go way back. Years ago, they had a property lien, like it was called a labor lien, like you worked on somebody's house and they didn't pay you. You could lien on the house. Well, if they never sold the house, you never got your money. You know, it could go transfer it through the children and so on. So you could be waiting on your money forever. What I'm saying, maybe some of these laws that the state is passing is kind of tighten the range a bit, okay? And then someone might be a little too strict, like the fella just got to say. And I do agree that watering trees is important, and there is no trespassing. If the tree is within the 20 foot from the sidewalk to the house, you know, it's all right to water the tree. The trespassing is actually the premises itself, the building, pretty much. But anyway, that's all I got to say is that the new law isn't always in favor of the big guy, like always. You know, the bank gonna come in at the backside and clean up anyhow. See, the ordinary people in our country is pitiful. That even the homeowners association is beating up on the senior citizens. You know, I mean, a lot of them can't read or don't read, or they get the mail and it just piles up, and they'll pay the homeowners fee, but somebody had to tell them. You know, they don't know, and sometimes they end up having a lien against them, and it ain't something that they wouldn't pay, just being old and don't hear whatever. And so I think the homeowners association really need to go talk to those old seniors. You know what I'm saying? And see what's going on before they be taking all them liens on them. That's all I'm trying to say. So what I'm saying, this lien business get to be pretty rude. But at the end of the day, the big guy always come out the winner. Okay? So the city do the best you can, but the state don't seem like they're on your side. And the people that refuse to pay on time, with the lien situation, they don't want to pay either. So the city get the short end of the stick. Sorry about that.
Well, the city's trying really hard, and thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard on this item? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Tarkanian?
Yes, I wanted to ask a couple of questions. Devin, you said the bank's in the process of what?
The property is in foreclosure. Unfortunately, we are unable to identify the bank. The homeowner has not been there in quite some time, and the property still remains through the assessor's office as the previous owner's name. So we don't know as of now who the bank is. We just show that it's going through the foreclosure proceedings.
All right. If we place a lien on it, then it's the bank's responsibility to pay it?
Yes, it would.
And if we place civil penalties, the same thing?
Yes.
And what's the worth of the house?
According to Zillow, it's approximately $105,000.
And how right now there's nobody there from the people who previously owned it, the bank people aren't involved. Are they keeping up with you guys cleaned up already?
Basically, the property looks exactly the way it was. We don't know that anybody's been there. There's no sign that anybody's doing anything with the property. We did the cleanup on the property.
But after the cleanup, I mean, is it nobody's messed it up? It's still clean, or now
it still looks good, yes.
It still looks good, okay. Okay, I move that we do the full amount of $3,013 for the amount spent by the city already, and assess a maximum of $12,000 in daily civil penalties, because it is property of the bank, even though the bank isn't down there yet. It's not the people anymore.
Correct.
They might be in Alaska.
Possibly.
It's cool. Okay. That's my motion.
Thank you very much. Vote on the motion, please. Post. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay. All right. Now into the consent agenda for planning. Items, let's see, 73 through 80 on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and are recommended for approval by the Planning Department. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 73 through 80?
Mayor, that's my motion.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, if
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Oh, right here.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I have to make a disclosure. On 77, on the special use permit extension at Walgreen, I live within the notification area of 1,500 feet. However, any action we take today or in the future would not affect me any differently than it would any other residents. So I will be free to abstain or vote in any way.
Thank you.
that I choose.
Can we vote on the motion, please? Post. Thank you. Motion carries. So. Okay, number 82 is gone, 83, 84, 83, there we go. EOT, subject, agenda summary page, EOT 41940, extension of time, non-conforming use, public hearing, applicant, Nevada Restaurant Services, Inc., owner, Decatur Meadows Shopping Center, for possible action on a request for an extension of time for a non-conforming tavern at 310 South Decatur Boulevard. Staff recommends approval on this. This is a public hearing. Now I declare it open. Is the applicant present? Sir, are you that applicant, or are you leaving?
I'm an authorized agent.
He's what? Authorized agent. Please, would you step to the microphone, give your name?
My name is Robert Rice, 1919 South Jones, Suite I, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm authorized agent of the Decatur Meadows Shopping Center, and we encourage approval for the extension of time.
Is there anyone else wishing to be heard on this item, please? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Tarkanian?
I move to approve. With all conditions.
Move to approve with all conditions. Vote on the motion, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 86. ROC 41902, review of condition, public hearing, applicant Vegas Express Gas Market Number 2 LLC owner, Pack Prop Service LLC, for possible action on a request for a review of condition of a previously approved special use permit 36779 to delete condition number 5, which states, quote, the sale of single beers, malt beverages, or wine coolers of any size with alcohol by volume greater than 6% shall be prohibited. The sale of wines with an alcohol by volume of greater than 16% shall be prohibited, close quotations, at 4401 East Bonanza, Ward 3. Please.
Your Honor, because this is in my ward and it is a new issue, Councilman Reese and I spoke about it, and I think the best thing for me to do is to ask for this to be obeyed so that I can meet with the property owner. I've had one conversation via email, and I'd like to meet with him personally and look at the intersection again to see how it fits with the other properties. So if we could request an abeyance on that. Does that require a motion? 2 weeks, yes, 2 weeks should do it.
And the applicant?
Yeah, that's
Hello.
fine.
And your name, please?
Matt Riccardella, 4401 East Bonanza
So
Road.
we haven't met, we just talked on the internet, that's how it is.
Okay. Is that an agreeable?
Yes, it is, Mayor.
Agreeable with you?
Yes.
We have a motion, and we have to have a public hearing.
To abate till when?
You don't need a public hearing to obey.
You do not need a public hearing to obey
That's
it.
right.
See, you learn something every minute.
That's right.
Okay. So, vote on it? Yes, please vote.
I'm sorry, Mayor. If the city clerk could state the date for the 2 weeks, this is Brian, sorry. If the
Okay.
city clerk could state the 2-week date.
It's July 20th, is the next meeting.
July 20th?
Yes, that is
Okay.
fine.
Okay, great. Vote on the motion, please.
On an abeyance, unless somebody has an objection to the abeyance, you can have a public hearing. Did you have? He's okay.
He's okay.
He says okay.
Okay, so please vote and post. There you do. See, we're all learning. This is great. All right, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the 20th.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. He looks very familiar to me. Okay, item number 87. I would instruct the city clerk to set the public hearing dates and appeals from the City Planning Commission meetings in dangerous buildings and nuisance litter abatements. Please. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. And I think, wait. Now we're at citizen participation. Okay, citizen, agenda item number 88, citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium, please, and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak?
Mayor?
Okay, and we will be limiting to 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Mayor. I'd like to congratulate you.
Thank you. Your name, please.
Dorothy Barnes. I have a mailing address of P.O. Box 466, Las Vegas, Nevada 89125. In previous meetings, I've been addressing a problem with some programs that are being implemented on military intelligence software. On yesterday, I visited Nellis Air Force Base to address the problem, hopefully to the Commanding General or the Inspector General of the base, because I'd called and they said he was out for the holiday, and so they told me to come on out, and I told them I had been addressing this to the City Council and the County Commissioners as well, because these programs have really destroyed my American dream, and I addressed to the military police on yesterday how they are still in violations of my citizenship, my rights as a citizen. I once served in the Army, swore to protect rights and freedoms of a country that I don't have rights and freedom acknowledged toward myself. And these programs are yet in violation of the 14th Amendment especially. And I addressed that to the military police on yesterday. So they took information down. I said, can I get a copy? They wouldn't supply me with a copy because they have really brought a problem to law enforcement. So I have addressed so many complaints to the law enforcement here in Las Vegas. I know a problem originated in my hometown, but when I came to Las Vegas, it was to start out anew, and hopefully I left all that behind. But the Shreveport, unfortunately, have some people whose understanding is not that great, and they have brought the trouble to Las Vegas. And because they have been allowed on Nellis and to create a problem for me here in Las Vegas, I just hate to be just like a gypsy running from city to city, because it's a very bad problem on a national level when they're doing something like this. So I don't know if you can assist me with this problem in gaining some rights and freedoms under the Constitution, but I hope, I know your husband did the best he could. I'm sure he put his best foot forward, but sometimes it's difficult when you have a lot of people who won't cooperate. So to make a better community for all, visitors, tourists, and newcomers alike. But I won't hold you long. I just hope I can get this problem settled and I won't have to leave Las Vegas as a result of this continuing growing problem among the citizens and law enforcement. And, you know, we can all get along and live happily. And I hope you have a great, you know,
Thank
problem.
you, and
won't
I
have all
hope
the
you're able to
problems
work
that
everything
your
through.
husband-
Keep trying. Thank you. Please come forward. State your name.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. My name is Richard Besmanoff, and I'm an honorably discharged Marine, Vietnam vintage.
Excuse me, we've been asked if you could remove your hat, please.
Oh,
I
certainly.
certainly would appreciate it. Thank
Apologize.
you, sir. That's quite all right.
And as I was saying, I'm an honorably discharged Vietnam vintage Marine and a member in good standing of our Marine Corps League here in Las Vegas and several veterans groups back in Florida prior to my moving here. I love this community, and I'm very concerned about many of the veterans' issues. And in that regard, I would like to bring to the attention of the council, if I may, and our new mayor, never forget our fallen heroes. This press release as of today, July 6, 2011. Why hasn't substantial progress been made on the approved Veterans Memorial Monument when over $200,000 has been raised by American shooters and others for this worthy project that was approved back in 2008 by both former Mayor Oscar Goodman and Pro Tem Mayor Gary Reese? Where is the scale model that Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1753 has virtually been hiding since April 2009? Why has this apparently become a private business project for American shooters and Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 1753 when it should be completely open to the greater Las Vegas veterans community? Who authorized this to become a secret project, and where is the cash? Some $200,000 has been raised. Where is it? And all the veterans' families and concerned veterans who would truly appreciate a current and accurate status report on the Veterans Memorial Monument that was approved for the Huntridge Circle Park in Ward 3. In addition, why is former State Senator Bob Coffin so totally against this Veterans Monument when he knew it was approved since April 15, 2008? And over the last 69 years, which have already passed, Las Vegas is the only American city that still does not have a major Veterans Memorial Monument. How much longer do we as veterans have to wait? And patriotically speaking, why does the city of Las Vegas want this shameful blot on its incredible global image? And I speak 6 languages. Trust me, Las Vegas has an incredible global image. And as a former Marine, I would like to contribute any way I can, starting with this Veterans Memorial Monument. And I live on the east side at 3749 Monument Street, and I'm proud to be an associate and friend of Mr. Peter Christoph. Thank you,
Thank
Mayor.
you. Thank you.
Council.
Are there any other members of the public? Yes, thank you. Sir, please state your name.
My name is Chris Christoph, and I happen to have commercial property with other people in the city as well as I live in the county. As you read that document, it's nothing that's just been thrown together. We have done, as I explained before, the former mayor, who I acknowledged this 3 different times with documentation, big time, that this is going all over the United States now, not to put him in a position that he didn't do it, that he pledged on it, as well as the pro tem mayor. But this attitude of something that's a business, private enterprise with the 1753 Veterans Foreign War made some slander remarks to several of the different people within the veterans organizations that were asking questions about this project. This project is something that we've been waiting for many years, and the leaders who did not think much about those events back in those days, but for some reason, we're going forward full right through the United States and hope that the mayor now, who represents the city, understand this is not against her or her husband, who's a former mayor. But I will go to the extreme with a lot of money to let it known that that Canadian expression on there is real, as well as it is in Boston, Mass, Chicago, everywhere. People are asking questions. Why am I coming here to Vegas when they don't respect a Veterans Memorial Recognition Park? And as far as another person who talked to me prior to 2 months ago when I just got his input in running for Ward 3, he made it clear to me, Mr. Christoph, I don't want it in Ward 3. I don't want it in 100 Circle Park. I've spoke to the Councilman, Mr. Steve Wolfson, on relating to this, as well as other people. We have other locations. In fact, one in Ward 2 that is being now decided with people on the council to see if we can make this thing possible. But what we have is a misleading and lies of about $800,000, and now the people who are involved with it, it's $2.6 million, not $800,000. The people who are supposed to be responsible for this, not your husband or the former mayor, but they're supposed to monitor this so that all organizations in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada know that they want to support this. They want to be part of it. They don't want to be left outside, and their families in the same attitude. So I'm asking you, with the city council, to do a full-scale investigation, as we've done, and let's arrive with a consensus of support, where we have not had support in 3 years, but an attitude of things have been hiding in the back. And I know that with your background in administration and things like that, you want to know why we haven't had it in 69 years. And I thank you very much. And as the Councilman Mr. Wilson, I would appreciate when you call me on this matter, as well as Councilwoman Lois Day on this same subject. So again, we have it on the website. On the meetings here, we have other things pertaining to the organizations that are involved with slander and remarks. We're going to sue different veterans organizations. We have documents on that now recently. So again, we want a unified response, and I think the leadership of the council, as well as Mr. Wilson said, let's work on this and let's not drag this on for another 10, 20 years. Thank you very much.
Mayor Goodman. Thank you, Mr. Christoph, and I do appreciate the telephone conversation we had the other day. And what I did tell you was that I would look into it and ask for an update. And I think it's appropriate, perhaps at our next meeting, to have a public status update on the situation at Huntridge and this memorial.
We can certainly do that.
So I'm hoping the other council people work diligently on this, because it just keeps dragging on with people resigning, councilmen, or not being up in front with letting the pro tem mayor as the mayor of the different problems they have within their corporation. And I don't like a business being involved
I'm sorry,
with
Mayor.
patriotic things.
We're going above and beyond what
Excuse me?
we're going beyond.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
On that subject, the Huntridge Park's in Ward 3, and in fact, I played on that park when I was a little kid, so I would like very much to be informed of anything that any other member of the council might like to do there, so that we can maybe get together and talk about that park. It's a rather small park, but I think we should have a Veterans Memorial. Never been opposed to it, as this document says.
Well, and the rendering looks beautiful.
If that's the right one, I don't know. Since I wasn't on the council, I don't know what was approved. I did see one day, I think 4 or 5, models. They all look good to me, but on the other hand, some take more space than others. So.
Thank you. Since we're not agendized to really discuss this today, why don't we put this on the council briefing for a couple of weeks from now? We'll get all of the background information together for everyone. And then if you determine from that briefing that you'd like to have a public presentation about the status, we could go from there.
Thank you very much, and I think that's what Councilman Wolfson was.
Well, actually, Mayor Goodman, I don't mind a briefing, but I've been contacted, as well as Councilwoman Tarkanian. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for just a public update. I never said to Mr. Kristoff that I was committed to do anything one way or another. I've been supportive of this memorial to date, but some questions have been raised. I don't mind a briefing, but I don't think there's anything wrong with having just a public update either.
And Mayor Goodman, if I could ask, Betsy, in that, can we find out, I don't understand who's collected this money, and where is the money, and what bank account? If we could just know that, if it's anything that's going to be on city land or proposed for that, I think it would be good to have that in the background, too.
We'll do our best to find all those details for you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
My name is Anthony Hart. I live 123 Sir David. I come down to congratulate everybody that got elected and the new mayor. The new man, sorry I can't pronounce your name just yet, but whatever. And Ms. Titanium and you and Mr. Barlow, congratulations on your re-election. And Mr. Anthony as Mayor Pro Tem and Mayor Goodman, period. Getting back to the veteran thing he's talking about, it's very important. You see, at the airport, we built a USO. Now, that's wonderful, a USO, for the military, coming and going, whatever. And if you don't want to build it in that little park, whatever, but a veteran memorial is long overdue. So put it somewhere, please, okay? And that's don't keep arguing about it. Don't be going back and forth. Enough time has been wasted already. And I'm speaking at the name of the game, okay? And so, gentlemen, it's going to be built somewhere and reasonably soon. And keep batting about it, that ain't going to do it. In the next 2 or 3 years, I'll probably be there and go, I want that memorial built somewhere, okay? So y'all make a commitment to that, please. We owe that to the community, to the country, and to the veterans. That's important. And Las Vegas is a city that's moving forward and doing all kinds of great things. Hey, don't leave that Memorial Park out. That's important. So make sure that's in the mix going forward. Congratulations again, Ms. Mayor, and I'm sorry to take your time up, ruin your day and whatever, but I hope that your new council can keep on marching on down the road, okay?
Thank you. I'm sure
and,
everybody's
as
doing
I told
their
your
best.
husband, I said before, I don't believe in doom and gloom. And I always said, none of us can read the future unless you're a fortune teller, and sometimes they miss. The truth is, tomorrow we don't see. So we take it one day at a time and you go forward. Always look forward. And so and your husband is doing a good job of that, and the council along with him, whatever. And that's what I've always tell people to. I love this country, we all know that. So the main thing is to make sure that we do the things that need to be done. The veterans is important, okay? And so I want that park, that veteran memorial, put somewhere as soon as possible. And I love you, and thank you for letting me have a word with you.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank
again,
you very
Mayor.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak under this portion of the agenda?
Yes, thank you. Todd Farlow, 240 North 19th Street. I have 2 issues. Can you tell me who's on the Housing Authority? Which members? Nobody. We have nobody on the housing. How did this happen?
Mayor, if you will, during the transition of the Housing Authority becoming the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, where Councilman Ross and I both sat, a part of the new policy that was enacted was that no elected official sit on the board. So all of the board members are now appointed by way of North Las Vegas, Henderson, City of Las Vegas, and Clark County. So there's no elected official sitting on the new Regional Housing Authority Board. And Councilman Ross, if you have anything to add to that, that would be helpful.
With your permission, Mayor, the individual that represents the city on the Regional Housing Authority is Father Dave Casaleggio.
The reason I brought that up.
And also Brenda Williams,
Yes,
former
Councilwoman Brenda Williams, correct. Thank you, Councilman.
The reason I brought that up is that the National Arbor Foundation awarded the city the designation as a Tree City USA. As part of that, we made a commitment that we had tried our best to save our trees and that. Where they tore down the old housing complex around on both sides of Bonanza around 28th Street, all those trees in there, there's beautiful, mature trees, and they need water. Nobody's taking care of them. You know, so I have to go to the Housing Authority to address that, which I will. The other issue is this, and Councilman Coffin, in my precinct alone, I have 49 foreclosed homes, vacant and foreclosed. It is just devastation, devastation. The banks, because I'm always here around on these banks, so let me tell you why. Those banks, and by the way, Bank of America just settled for $146 million in fees, but they caused devastation 1,000 times that. The banks did not want to do these mortgage modifications because the banks were covered with mortgage insurance that was covered. Their mortgage insurer happened to be AIG, which was bailed out by the taxpayer. So the poor old taxpayer gets it from both barrels. And the banks just make out like a bandit on this. The banks are richer now than they ever have been. And it gets worse by the day. About a year ago,
Unfortunately,
I'll
your
be
time, if you'll just bring it to a quick close, we'd
about a
appreciate
year
it.
ago, I gave a pamphlet stating my positions to the council members, and I'll update you and get that back to you. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there's no one else that wants to participate in the public hearing, then we will move on to item 89. Okay, council member recognition. Comments made by individual city council members during this portion of the agenda will not be acted upon by the city council unless that subject's on the agenda and scheduled for action. Is there any member of the council who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda? Yes. Councilman Coffin.
Thank you, Your Honor. In 1983, my wife and I, Mary Hausch, were invited to speak to a young gentleman who had come out from the Midwest who was being recruited for UNLV. Staff members and coaches at UNLV were not allowed to contact this young gentleman. However, we were, as a public official in my case, and as a newspaper woman in my wife's case. We met this young gentleman, a quiet giant of a man, about age 18, maybe even 17, at the Sporting House restaurant. We had a lovely lunch. He said about 6 words. We filled all the air. But we were so impressed with his character, his quality, and his references, not to mention his basketball ability. Young Armand Gilliam went on to become a wonderful player for UNLV and an All-American. And I watched many, many of his games. So I was so upset this morning to see a news bulletin come across that Armand has passed away last night of a heart attack at the age of 47. So I hope, Your Honor, that when we adjourn today, we could adjourn in memory of Armand Gilliam.
Oh, my gosh. That's such sad news. What a fine, fine young man who brought great pride to this city.
Yeah.
I know we extend our condolences to his family and to all those who admired and loved him. He will be sorely missed.
And Councilwoman Tarkanian obviously knew him personally.
Well, I was
quite
going
well.
to say something,
Were you?
too.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
glad you went ahead and did that. I just wanted to say that Armand Gilliam, who was a gentle giant of a young man who played for the UNLV Rebels in the 1980s, passed away yesterday from a heart attack at the age of 47, which is very young. He was, as you mentioned, Councilman Coffin, really an exceptional human being. And I make special mention of him at this time because of that. He's what a student athlete. A student should be always smiling, always kind. One of UNLV's best players ever, and you wouldn't even know it from talking with him. He was so modest, and he would never bring attention to himself. He was a great son. His parents did a tremendous job in raising him. He went on to play pro ball after UNLV. He became a minister, and he also became a basketball coach of young men in school. And I will tell you, he was one of my very, very best favorite players ever, and his mom called last night, and it's a big shock to everybody. And you just don't know how these things happen. But I will tell you one thing. You may remember they called him the Hammer, Armin the Hammer, because he just stoically went there and got those rebounds and brought them down all the time. And in any case, I agree that we just have a thought as we close today for this young man and for all he did, not here just on the court, but what he did with his life afterwards, too. Someone we can always respect and who certainly represented our city well. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take him in our hearts and souls and wish his family our condolences and prayers. And thank you all. Anyone else who wishes to speak at this time?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. On tomorrow, my annual Coffee with the Councilman will be taking place at the Starbucks on the corner of Rancho and Bonanza. So for all the residents that would like to speak with me or business owners, please come out to Starbucks on tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m., Coffee with the Councilman. And on July 14th through the 16th will be the C.J. Watson Basketball Clinic. As you all may or may not know, C.J. Watson is a hometown hero here in the city of Las Vegas. He plays for the Chicago Bulls. He backs up Derrick Rose for the Chicago Bulls, and he comes back every year to host a clinic at the Doolittle Community Center, and that will be taking place July 14th through the 16th. So all school-age young people that would like to participate in his basketball clinic, please go out to the Doolittle Community Center July 14th through the 16th. And also on July 16th, starting at 12 noon at Doolittle, I'm hosting my annual summer pool party, Summer Splash, at the Doolittle Pool. And that will be from noon until 5 p.m. So we'll have a lot of refreshments and games, and also the Desert Mermaids will be performing once again for us out at Doolittle Pool. So if you would like to cool off this summer, please come and hang out with us on July 16th, starting at 12 noon. Please bring all of your kids and family, and we're going to have a good time. And the following week, the JYD basketball camp will take place also at the Doolittle Community Center from July 18th through the 20th. So if you also missed the C.J. Watson basketball clinic, you'll have an opportunity to participate in the JYD basketball clinic at Doolittle Community Center July 18th through the 20th. And also, I would like to say that Armin was a good friend of mine as well, Councilwoman and Councilman Coffin, and he'll most definitely be sorely be missed, and I will keep his family and friends and the entire Rebel Nation in my prayers as we reflect on the great character and man Armin was. He was a very good friend, and my heart and condolences go out to he and his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Barlow. Anyone else? Councilman Wolfson.
Doesn't matter whether I'm last or not. Go ahead.
Are you doing yours?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add something else before he goes on with his, and that is I wanted to thank all of the Ward 1 Neighborhood Association members and volunteers that attended our annual Neighborhood Appreciation event last week, and also to thank the staff at Arizona Charlie's for treating us so well. We had a great time. We had lots of people there when we talked about the progress we made, so it was a really positive experience for all of us. And here's an update from the folks at DJs for PJs. The final count for PJs collected this year was 8,013 pairs of pajamas. Right. And because the drive has become so successful, this year they were able to add 3 new charities to their list of recipients. So thanks again to all the City of Las Vegas employees, all the people who attend our meetings, including the generous members of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue for contributing to this wonderful cause. Thank you.
Councilman Wolfson.
Thank you, Mayor Goodman. As I do at the end of every meeting, I want to show you the picture of a child missing from our community. And, you know, I don't remember what the tally is, but I've been doing this for over a year now, and close to 50% of the kids that we've highlighted on this program during these meetings have been found. And I don't want to say it's necessarily as a result of our announcements, but every little bit helps. The more announcements we get about missing children, the more it helps. So please turn your attention to the screen and take a look at the picture of Gabby Nunez. Gabby has been missing since May 28th of this year. She's 16 years old, and we're asking your help in locating this young lady. Gabby is 5 foot 3 inches tall, weighs 170 pounds. She has brown eyes, blonde hair, and a piercing on the right side of her bottom lip. She was last seen in the area of East Owens and North Pecos, wearing a blue shirt and gray jeans. She may be carrying a small yellow suitcase. The more people we have looking for Gabby, the better chance we have of returning her safely to her home. If you know where Gabby is, please contact Nevada Child Seekers at 702-458-7009 or Las Vegas Metro Missing Persons Unit at 702-828-3111. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really important. These poor young people. Hearing none, anyone else wish to be heard? Any members of the council? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.